all started it. One person shows to go, look, see what I can do, see how tricky I am, and then the dominoes fall.
Quick online update, this from Glenn Webber. I've had ups and downs in the Sunday Storm, but I'm still hanging on with a below-average stack. Glenn believes that there is such a thing as live stream run good, and he is benefiting from it right now by watching PokerStars TV. Don't forget, if you missed out on the Sunday Storm, if you've already been eliminated, or you didn't have $11 in your bankroll, the free roll is kicking off in 15 minutes' time. Late registration is available for the free roll if it doesn't max out before then. 25,000 players have claimed their seats using that password, TAMBORITO. Tamburito will get you into today's PokerStars TV free roll.
Delicious musical tamburitos.
Got an all-in here. Gill, who we just saw fold the ace-queen, is now shoving for 477,000.
Yeah, he had to give away that 130 in the last attempt and now gets a bit back.
I mean, he was open shoving there for, what, 25 big blinds?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Michael Leck has dropped below the 10 big blind mark. Still half of this level to play. 45 minutes to run at 10:20.
And this time, Harpreet Gill going to be a bit more traditional. Just call. Seems ambitious at this level, but maybe once one guy limps in, everyone goes, all right, well, let's see a flop 4 or 5 ways. Smarin is in. Anthony Diot is out. Bosnicek also come along for the ride. And there you go, 4 players to a flop with 107,000 in the middle. 2 spades, 8, 3 deuce. Check, 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 check. A 4 to the turn. Don't see that too often. Another 8 comes down. Gill going to try and make something work for him here.
First aggressive action of this entire hand.
Yeah. Everyone checked their way to the flop. Sorry, called their way to the flop, checked their way to the turn.
Smarin, the only player who calls the 25k, so heads up to the river, which is the Jack of Hearts. Ace deuce, the hand for Gill, and he adds more than 100k to his stack, gets up above the 30 big blind mark.
Yep, be very happy to be slightly out of that pressure area. 32 bigs, hardly super comfortable, but certainly more playable than where he was a couple of hands back.
Dale asks, why no hole cards? We're actually in between hands at the moment, Dale. Clara, sorry, it's not Clara, it's the other dealer. She's actually shuffling at the moment, but as soon as she's pulled in the antes and the players have posted the blinds, they will receive their hole cards.
Yes, thank you for your question. Going to be on Byron Caverman to start this one under the gun. He's just going to sit back for a minute and think about it. Nah. Got to say, apart from Byron, everybody moves at a pretty decent pace. And Byron's not too painful. And just as I say that, Jonathan Abdul-Latif goes into the tank for 25 minutes before folding. Nailed it. James is out, and Harpreet Gill sort of getting himself back into this game hand by hand. Another call. All of a sudden, pre-flop raising, very unfashionable.
3 players see a king 6-4 flop. It's all hearts. Action checked around. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. And there's a bet on the turn from Timofeyev, which will win him this pot. Overall, Matt, I'd say the pace of play is decent.
Yeah. Yeah. More than happy with that. Yeah, whoever ends up being down to our last 6, our last 4, heads up. There's only a couple of very specific matchups that could make things sluggish, but so far all these players we've watched all tend to act pretty swiftly. Folding, folding, folding. Opportunity knocks for Ken. I'm surprised, James, that so far in the free roll we haven't found ourselves sat on the same table, because that's kind of our thing. But a bit disappointed. Not yet happened. Got nearly 26,000 people standing by ready to play that in about 10 minutes' time. Do come and join us. Password top left of your screen. Being told off because though I asked everyone to give me updates on their Sunday Storm, apparently because I'm not reading every single one out, that makes me a bad person. I am keen. I'm seeing them. I'm watching them. It's a bit early to start popping open the champagne.
Long way to go for the players in that tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Long, long way to go.
That's the kind of thing that Lee Jones likes to comment on his own. Just get him in a box. Gonna be a slog. 3 bet here from Denis Timofeyev.
Now, this is probably a lack of observation on my part, but I've only just noticed that very flowery tattoo on Kenneth Smaran's right arm.
Really? How could you miss it?
Well, has he had it covered up for most of the day?
Well, certainly since I've been here, you know, he's had it out, as they say in the trade. Whether earlier on it was covered up, I don't know. I was mostly listening rather than watching. There you go. Look at it. It's a beauty.
It's colourful for sure.
I don't know if I'd like colour. I quite like some of the dark tattoos and some of the clever ones that are portraits. I'm not sure about the really colourful ones. That's the end of that segment of the show about Matt not being sure about colour in tattoos. Hope you enjoyed it. More of that tomorrow.
Well, talked about Kenneth Smaran in a right while. He took down the Prague High Roller for 600,000 euros. His total lifetime earnings are close to $1 million.
Just the blinds to get through now. That raise of 45,000 being considered. And Coverman's going to come along. Abdulatif going to make his decision.
Just want to say a quick hello to Daryl, who's tweeted to say, hi guys, just grinding the micro stakes on Stars. Enjoying the broadcast. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Daryl. If you are a micro stakes player, why not get some of the free roll? Not even micro stakes, it's 0 stakes. It starts very soon. In fact, 5 minutes from now. Late registration is available. There are, I believe, 4,000 seats still available because there's 26,000 runners. $2,000 in the prize pool, and of course, bounties on the commentators. Knockout J. Hartigan, $100 is yours. Knockout Waster, same deal. Knockout Joe Stapleton, $100.
That sounds like a pretty good way to spend your time, Daryl. Grinding and watching us.
So this hand has gone 3-way to the flop. Smarin's pre-flop raise called in 2 spots. He has continued for 60,000. Queen 10-3 on the board. Caverman with the decision. He calls. Abdulatif folds. Heads up to the turn. That turn card is the 10 of spades. Pairing the board, putting a flush draw out there. Caverman first to speak.
Come on, Byron, don't spoil it. We're saying how good the speed is. Let's keep things moving now. $222,000 in the middle, and Caverman makes his bet. 115,000. And the call has been made. Off to the river with over $500,000 in the middle.
7 of clubs, which can't imagine makes any significant difference to anyone. Caverman, the effective stack, 700,000 behind. There's 500,000 odd in the middle.
Tick tock, tick tock.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Are you getting into it with Chris Moneymaker? You and social media, James. Oh, come on, Byron. Come on now. Don't make yourself the villain. Oh, there goes the villain alert.
I think that was the noise alerting us that the free roll's starting.
No, bingo.
And I'm just double checking. No, we're not at the same table, Matt.
What are the chances? Unbelievable. Also disappointed to see that no one at my table has Gormless James Hartigan as their avatar.
So Caverman has bet 145,000 on the river, having taken over the betting lead on the turn. Either way, this pot will determine the chip leader of the PokerStars Championship main event. Smarin moves all in. Kaverman calls. Sorry, folds rather, sorry.
What?
And Smarin is very much chip boss, chip daddy. 2.7 million for the American, and Kaverman down to 558,000. Just shy of 30 big blinds. Still waiting for a response from Chris Moneymaker.
He's probably got people on it. He's probably got his team of PAs researching the answer to your question. Such a good feeling when there's a hand in play and you're still piling up the chips from the huge win. You go, oh God, sorry, and you go, sorry everyone, sorry, I'm still piling up my winnings. So be back with a minute. Would one commentator claim the bounty if he were to knock out the others? I think we've been asked this before, and I think they stack up. So if James knocked me out, and then you knocked out James, you'd get the 200.
Correct. It's a double rollover.
I don't think it's ever happened.
Well, we've never been at the same table, let alone...
Exactly. It would be a pretty crazy all in from Abdulatif.
Shoving small to big. James Salmon with the decision. That's a call.
Uh-oh.
And Abdulatif is at risk.
Oh, wow.
And he is dominated. Domination Nation. Queen 9 into ace queen. I mean, this is just unlucky. I can completely understand the move he made.
Yeah.
But Salmon just happens to wake up with a monster in the big.
Oh, for winning one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the timing. The fact that it was just blind on blind, that's a great hand to wake up with if you're in Jonathan's spot here. You've only got James to worry about as long as he hasn't got a... Oh, he has. It's as simple as that.
A lot of diamonds there? Yeah.
Oh, look at this. An ace-high flop with 2 diamonds.
Sweat, man. Dead on the turn.
The ultimate sickness.
10 on the
9 outs to cross your fingers for.
6 club.
There is the diamond on the turn. Domination rotation. Salmon now drawing dead. And Jonathan Abdulatif doubles up. There's Adam Owen, a finalist from Barcelona last year, who is railing Jonathan Abdulatif.
Ah, okay. All right. I'll see if I can get to argue with a woman. I guess that's what it was, yeah.
And you see where that takes him. Not exactly comfortable, but over 500,000, 25 big blinds. And James still just shy of 2 million now, still super stacked.
Yeah, Michael Leck, just 8 big blinds now.
And a little under 30 minutes on the level before that stack becomes even less effective. I guess the good thing is 9-handed. The blinds coming round less hands, but those 8 bigs aren't going to last too long at this table. Be asked for our screen names. Don't forget, if you're playing in the free roll, you're looking for Waster, J.Hartigan, or Joe Stapleton, all one word. Come find us, come chat to us. Come take our bounties.
So Leck all in from under the gun, shoving for his super short stack. Just the big blind to get through. Harpreet Gill And he folds. So a reminder that the first European stop of the PokerStars Championship is in Monte Carlo at the end of April / beginning of May. 25th of April to the 5th of May. Qualifiers running for the main event. If you search Monte Carlo in the tournament lobby, you'll find those games. And of course, we will stream the last 5 days of the main event here at PokerStars TV. Live coverage begins on the 1st of May. That will be our next stream, because as we've discussed over the last few days, we will not be heading to Macau. So join us at the beginning of May, 5 days of coverage from the Monte Carlo Bay Hotel and Casino. Still no answer from Chris Moneymaker.
Man, it's just rude. That's the thing. It's just embarrassing, isn't it?
Under the gun raise from chip leader Kenneth Smarin.
And congratulations to Alexander, who just took my bounty.
Oh, is it over already?
It's over already. I had so many outs, I had to go for it. I had the second nut flush draw, I had the gut shot draw. There were 4 of us in. I could have made a fortune. And, of course, I didn't. Congratulations to you, sir. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
The Moneymaker trolling continues.
Everyone needs a hobby. People have been going saying, free roll isn't even a turbo. How are you out already? Because I want you guys to have my bounty. And if I see a good opportunity, I'm going to make you either pay for it or I'm going to just hand it over. This is a lose-lose situation for me. If I won the whole thing, I can't keep any of the money. If I do well, then you guys don't have much fun.
Hold on. They said that it's 5-minute blinds. I wouldn't exactly say it was a slow and steady MTT. You got to get busy early doors, to be honest, or
yeah. I mean, our bet sizing wasn't traditional, certainly. For
okay.
You know, you just want to get it in, don't you? You see a good spot and splap, and it goes. Nothing wrong with that.
Gone to the flop here. King 6-3. Timofeyev's pre-flop raise to 50,000 was called by Kenneth Smarin in the big blind. Smarin has checked the flop.
Now, as late reg is still open, can you remind me again the password? I know it was something like tambourine and something else.
Tamburrito. It's the burrito that's shaped like a tambourine.
There you go, kids. Tamborito. You've still got 5 minutes to get in, and late reg. I'm afraid I am already out. You've still got Joe Stapleton and J. Hartigan to fight for. $100 on everybody, as well as $2 grand in the prize pool. Top prize, $215. All for free. You're welcome. This is strange. An under-the-gun call. Just a pre-flop attempt to just get in. That seems incredibly either dodgy or just incredibly hopeful. But no one else wants to pay the price. Timofeyev also going to try and get in on the cheap. Okay, well, no one tempted to make it any more expensive. 4 ways to a flop. King, king, 9, 2 spades, 107,000 in the pot.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. The pre-flop limping is a interesting strategy, I guess. The Gibbons from Wozniacek, which started all this.
Well, Timofeyev has had enough of this, and now it is our chums once again, Robin and Dennis, set next to each other. Very hard, again, just because of the bluff we've seen, to know whether he's just doing that with the old 5-6 diamonds or whether this is pocket queens. Timofeyev going to try and find out, and gets the good news that whatever he had, it was probably ahead.
So Timofeyev has worked his way up to second on the leaderboard. He has moved ahead of his nemesis, Robin Wozniacek. It is very close at the top. 3 players with more than 2 million each. Smarin, Timofeyev and Wozniacek. At the bottom end of the leaderboard, Anthony Diot is down to 13 big blinds and Michael Leck has fewer than 10. 20 minutes till the end of the level. The blinds will go up when we come back from break. And during the break, part 3 of Poker in the Ears and Eyes, Panama edition. It's Superfan versus Stapes.
Just made a dreadful mistake with an apostrophe in communicating with the guitarist. Yeah, he asked me what key we do Johnny be good in, A or B flat, and I said your choice, but I actually...
No!
Yeah.
Matthew, no!
And he replied and said, that's very kind of you. I was like, no, I wasn't suggesting you, sir. Hey, your choice. Unbelievable. I'm so embarrassed. I could blame auto-correct, but I think it was probably me. A raise to 45,000 from Byron Caverman. James Salmon has been pretty quiet, apart from that ace-queen coup against Jonathan Abdelatif. And looks like Robin Wozniacek has also been lured in for the value.
3-way action. And an 8-5-3 flop with 2 diamonds.
Check from Robin. Back onto the ponderous Caverman. And while he considers this, oh, here we go. We're okay. We're okay. 55. Remind you, the blues are the 5s, yellows the 25s.
Pressing the button.
Good luck, all-in player.
All in for just shy of 12 big blinds. Oh, an immediate reshove to isolate from the big stack at the table. And a reshove from...
Oh, mate.
I'm dead.
Straight? No.
No, dead.
No. Well done, everyone.
I think it was Leicester. I think it was Leicester who got my bounty. So well done, Leicester.
Well, at least you can enjoy the break fully.
That is true.
And that one was a win for Byron Caverman.
Oh, poor Chris Moneymaker.
What's he done now?
Why'd you like to cause me pain? And he's corrected himself. 4 p.m. EDT.
More on that story in the next episode of Poker in the Years in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, so I think we're going to put out the audio version of the podcast on Tuesday, which is the 21st. So there's something to listen to next week, even if you've already seen it this weekend. And then we'll record the next one during the last week of March. And that will be our Panama recap. And that will have all the stories about time zone trolling and Joe's various female encounters.
Oh, God. I've got a feeling in the same way that I somewhat dominated the first episode, the first part of this episode with my Rozadov. I don't know if me and you need to actually turn up to the next one. We may as well just like send him an email that says, "Dear Joe, tell us about all the times you didn't have sex in Panama," and just leave the tape running.
Yeah, I kind of feel that we are going to need a break before we hear that, because we're kind of really sick of it right now.
Well, we're living it. We're living an anecdote. It's like a living, like my story. It starts and then it ends, and then I tell you. Joe, it's like a perpetual world. It's like World of Warcraft. It's just, there's no beginning, no end. It's a cash game. It's just very, very hard to know where you are with Joe's life. You guys are just passengers. We're kind of tied up in the trunk. A raise here from Ken Smarron, 85,000. After Jonathan Abdulatif tried a Wozniacek and just tried to limp in. No joy.
Queen 9-3 with 2 diamonds. Smarron continues. And Gil folds.
And the rich get richer. 2.8 for Kenneth Smarron now. Gil okay. 475,000, so 23 bigs, but less than 50 minutes on the clock. So there's at least 4 players, if not 5, that are going to find themselves feeling pretty squeaky once we come back at level 23. Particularly Michael Leck with just 9 bigs right now and 13 minutes of blinds and antes to supply, and Anthony Diot with 12 bigs.
So level 23, we'll see the blinds go to 2,500. No, sorry, level 25, 1530 we go to. Oh, hang on, what level are we on?
Well, 22 apparently.
Sorry. So not 1020.
We're currently at 1020 with the 3.
Okay.
A raise from 45 from Kenneth Smarron as we struggle to work out what the next level will be. I'm sure it will resolve itself in exactly 12 minutes and 21 seconds. 997 on the flop. This is Smaran versus Wozniacek. Smaran opened it to 45,000, got the call. 147,000 up for grabs, and Smaran is going to c-bet here. 50 on the nose.
So I think the next blind level is meant to be 1224, although according to this, that's level 24, so not quite sure what level 23 is.
Well, this looks like the c-bet has been re-raised here. Robin Wozniacek, who just called the raise pre, feeling good about the 997. He's probably got the 7-8. Got the back door straight. 2 pair. You know how these things go. Got a bit of the Tom York about him. And he takes this one down with that re-raise. And he is up to 2.2 now. Jumps ahead of Timofeyev. So 3 players over 2 million. James Salmon on 1.8. And then a massive gap, really, because that 1.8 represents 91 big blinds. Byron Caverman next on the leaderboard with 31 big blinds. And then Gil, 23. Abdul Latif, 21. Diot, 12. And the aforementioned short stack, Michael Leck on 8 bigs.
Okay, well, it seems the tournament structure I was looking at is a hangover from the old days, which for some reason is still on the website, so that's really handy. Yes, level 23 will see the blinds go to 1224 with a 4K ante.
That sounds about right. Folding round to the second shortest stack, Anthony in the hijack. He has folded, and therefore Robin Wozniacek, who is certainly impressing in this level, raises it to 50 grand. And the big blind of Jonathan Abdul Latif under attack, and looks like he's going all in against it. That's the way you defend your big blind, is to get that triangle in.
Wozniacek with the decision.
One last look before releasing these into the ocean.
Abdul Latif has been all in a fair few times today, and he's been called pretty much every time, and he's doubled up every time. On this occasion, he does not get any action, so increases his stack to just over the 25 big blind mark. Blinds up in just shy of 9 minutes. The next break is approaching, and that means more poker in the ears and eyes.
Tim Mullett agrees with me that Robin Wozniacek definitely has a bit of the Radiohead's Tom York about him. Just from the side, just from that side close up, that's where it really kicks in.
Did you say Timmy Mallet?
No, just Tim Mullett.
Oh.
Or it might even be Tin Mullet. It's in a red on black. It's not great even for the bionic eyes.
Thought we had a celebrity fan watching.
The chance. Celebrity? Really, James?
Timmy Mallet's a celebrity.
To you and I.
Huge on kids' TV in the 80s.
Yeah, it's 2017. You don't know how long ago that was, don't you?
Raise here from the chip leader to 45,000. Action fold to the blinds. Abdul Latif in the small blind. He has called the raise, and now we have James Salmon in the big blind. Fourth in chips with a 90 big blind stack. Salmon calls as well. 3 players in this pot.
Come on, dealer.
7 tray deuce.
Well, again, everyone get your Badoogie cards out. It's a good one. And lovely. It's the sort of message I love from Martin Lennon. Byron reminds me of someone, but I cannot quite put my finger on it. Well, thanks for getting in touch. Always great to get valid input from the audience. Like Marky Mark and Dolph Lundgren had a baby. Come back to you on that one. Thanks for your input. Check brings a bet out of Smarin's going to continue for 57,000 into 162. Abdul Latif fancies it. James not so much so. 10 of clubs on the turn.
Abdul Latif has checked.
Jonathan is going to use his position aggressively from the small blind. Just about to count that, dealer. Unbelievable. 455. 155. Sorry, I was thinking that doesn't sound right at all.
He doesn't have 450.
No, no. I was repeating what I'd heard rather than what I'd seen and had misheard it. Wondering if we have any soccer fans. Football, that's football to you, me. Soccer fans in our audience, because coming up in the next break, the next part of Poker in the Ears and Eyes has a Superfan versus Stapes with a bit of World Cup and football trivia. Why not play along at home?
He's rushing, right? I mean, at some point it will all be the same again, but like, not yet.
Being asked what place Tito finished in, if I'm not wrong, was it around 22nd, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. So pretty solid showing from him. Came back on day 4 without a super stack, having doubled up in the last hand of the day previous. Lasted maybe a level or 2 at best, but couldn't really get going.
Thank you for Peter Blow's reminder that Timmy Mallet had a #1 single, created the game Mallet's Mallet, created the Whacker Wave. Of course he's a celebrity. And Pete says the only thing that would bring it into question if he was in the junk. Oh, wait.
Oh, I see, yeah. Didn't he have a hit with Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini as well?
Yes.
Was obviously a remake of the original classic, but seems to remember there being a really great video, lots of vibrant colours. $25K is the price set by the Under the Gun +1 from Kenneth Smarin. Folded round to Byron, who's just doing that thing he does where he sits very still with his hands over his cards.
He folds. Abdul Latif on the button. He passes. James Salmon in the small blind. That is a re-raise. 3-bet from Salmon. Round to Gill in the big blind. And he moves all in.
Kasplat. Oh. And a Kasplat of a call. Monster.
Ace Queen the hand for Salmon. Ace King for the all-in player, Harpreet Gill. It's Domination Nation. Martin tweets to say, why isn't the broadcast showing cards up? We are, Martin. You can see the Ace King against the Ace Queen, and you're about to see 5 community cards that will decide the fate of Harpreet Gill. He is a 72% favourite to double up here through James Salmon. But sometimes, and 23% of the time it will happen, he will get unlucky. So far, so good. Hearts are not a factor.
Yep. About as safe as houses.
Just a little joking around with a friend about the stream. So.
Well, they swap out.
Yeah.
So only a king on the river will see Harpreet Gill eliminated.
Hello?
You live in Belgium?
The river card is a 7. Ace King high holds.
Where? Can't see it. I've been to Brussels and what's the other big city? Yeah, I've been there like once for like 2 hours.
Welcome back to the table, Harpreet.
No, I was in the south of Holland celebrating Queen's Day, and my friend and I just drove over to this place, Cafe Paris. Yeah.
And I guess that's it. By the time the chips are counted up and given back, that's the end of that level.
Yeah, so still 9-handed after the end of that session. When we come back from break, blinds up to 12,000, 24,000 with a 4,000 ante as we continue to play down to 6 on the penultimate day of the PokerStars Championship Panama main event. Some more live action in 20 minutes. Right now, we're on break, and that means part 3 of Poker in the Ears and Eyes. Enjoy. It is Superfan time on Poker in the Ears and Eyes. We welcome from Argentina, Mr. Andres Korn.
Yes, Andres, thank you. Bienvenidos. Weird glitch in the matrix with this dude, am I right?
So weird.
Yeah.
So obviously we're doing the live stream, Andres, and we go on break and we're talking about the fact that like, oh, who's the superfan? I said, oh, there's this guy, Andres, who said he's going to be in Panama, wants to come on the show. And then they're running this video, which is Nacho Barbero winning his first ever LAPT. And it's like, oh, and Andres Korn has been eliminated by Nacho Barbero. Goes, that's the same name as the guy who's coming on the podcast. That is the guy who's coming on the podcast.
That was me, yes. I was pretty pissed off with that hand, actually. You should have gone with King Jack, by the way. Should have laid that down. But
How
anyway.
deep in the turn? Well, that was at the final table?
Was that like third place?
Third place, yeah.
So you are a good poker player.
I'm okay, yeah.
So, what is your history? Is that your best finish to date?
I made 2 final tables, LAPT, 3rd and 4th.
Wow.
I won a couple of tournaments in Asia and Argentina. Nothing major, but I did okay.
Jeez, and so what does he win for this? A $27 ticket?
Every little helps. I think really, it's the hoodie, right? It's the everyone loves a chop pot hoodie.
That's what I'm here for.
That's
yeah,
what the super fans deserve.
Those are running out. So are you a professional poker player? Or do you
part-time,
part-time.
yeah.
So what is your real life?
Part-time dad, part-time bookie,
Part-time bookie?
Bookie, yes.
So I could just make a bet with you?
You could, yeah. What you want to bet on?
No, nothing. I've never won a bet in my entire life.
That's my perfect customer.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's like, well, let me tell you about my sign-up bonus.
Finally, all my life I've been waiting to meet you. Hello.
Yeah, I don't really just... Okay, so part-time poker player, part-time bookie.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a real job?
Oh, a long time ago. I forgot about that.
What was it?
don't remember.
He doesn't remember. He worked at Subway making sandwiches. Nacho Barbero came in and
Something
gave him a
like
really
that, yeah.
complicated order one time.
Yeah, not too much.
So you're still a little bitter about that hand, though.
Nah, 7 years ago. I mean, he's a friend. He could have laid it down, but still.
And
We're past that.
Nasser's from Argentina also,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, yeah.
Okay. Do you guys play Magic the Gathering together?
No, we play poker mostly.
Poker. And does he ever make bets with you as a bookie?
He did. He lost too much.
Ah, he is cut off.
He was bad too, yeah.
Oh,
He was
man.
a good customer, actually, but yeah.
So obviously you came to Panama to play. Any results since you've been here?
3 near bubbles. That's the best thing.
Bubble
I made
I
a lot
think
of chips in all the tournaments I play and never made it.
I think you're due a result, and I've got a good feeling about today's game. Now, obviously,
I can't. I'm going to do sports trivia against the bookie. This is fantastic. Oh, what a
being from this
setup!
part of the world, Andres, obviously you're a huge soccer fan. You wanted to choose the World Cup as your specialist subject. We were thinking great, however, I mean, American sports, you've got no idea.
No.
What hope have you got on World Cup soccer trivia?
If you ask me about my own bowling history, that's about the best. Wait, I think I even lost Supervan versus Staves for bowling, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no shot.
Okay. All right. Well, I have handicapped it slightly. So you have legit questions. You have slightly easier questions.
Like in
but
soccer, what are you not allowed to use?
that would. Do you know what? I wish I'd thought of that because that would have guaranteed at least a point.
Right.
But
Now we're not so sure.
now we're not so sure.
Okay.
Let's have a go with this.
Okay.
Round 1 is quickfire, an opportunity to get some points on the board. 3 questions for you, Andres, 3 questions for you. This is called We Aren't the Champions.
We aren't the champions?
I'm interested in who lost World Cup finals, not who won.
Okay.
So can you tell me for a point, who lost the World Cup final in 2002?
2002, Germany.
Correct.
Okay.
Who lost the World Cup final in 1998?
France was the champion. Brazil lost.
Correct. Who lost the World Cup final in 1994?
Italy.
Matt, why are you skipping so many years?
No, Bulgaria.
No,
No?
no. Bulgaria lost the semi-final.
Are you you're saying 1994 held in the USA, Bulgaria didn't lose the World Cup final?
No, Brazil bet Italy on penalties. I'm
I
almost
kind
sure.
of feel like this.
Correct. Well done. You're absolutely right. 3 for 3.
Okay, thanks.
Just
Quick correction there now.
no. Well done. Well spotted.
Okay, okay,
Matt, I
thanks.
have to ask, why are you only asking about every 4 years? What about the in-between years?
We'll chat about that in the break.
That's a good
We'll have
question,
look.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Right, Joe. Your quickfire round.
Uh-huh.
How many players are on the field during a soccer game?
How many total players?
Yes.
Yeah.
Counting the goalies?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
Wow.
12.
So it's 6 aside.
Yeah.
No.
Goalie and 5 players? No.
No, it's
10.
22.
Oh, there's a lot more.
There's a lot more. Way more.
11 and 11. Wow, that's
Okay,
weird.
no problem.
It's too much, huh?
That's a lot of
Yeah,
players.
I know. It's too
It's a
crowded.
big field, I guess.
Yeah.
How long does the halftime break last?
20 minutes.
15.
Yeah, that's close enough. Half a point, man.
That's
Come
very
on.
kind
That
of you.
would probably work in his business too, right? If I came to you and I was like, I made a bet. It was close
Yeah,
enough.
close enough. Yeah, I
the
can
horse
pay
came
that.
second, but that's pretty good. And your third quickfire, can you spell FIFA?
Yes.
Sorry, I should have said.
I want 1 point for that. I got that right.
Please, would you spell FIFA?
FIFA.
Yay!
Bing.
You're on
That's
the
Well
board.
2
done.
points because I answered his question
I tell you
correctly.
what, I'm sympathetic. I'll give you 1.5. We'll split the difference.
Got to be so careful how you word these questions with Joe. Okay, Andrew, it's about you. Because of World War II, the World Cup was not held between 1938 and 1950. As a result, who are recorded as the reigning World Cup champions for a record 16 years?
1938 was Italy.
Correct. Man, I'm not even bothering giving you the multiple choice because you're just... Okay, Joe, I am going to give you the multiple choice in this one.
Maybe I don't need it. Let's just cool out.
Okay.
Take the multiple choice.
In
Let me listen to the
1986,
question first.
World Cup, in the World Cup, let me start again. In the 1986 World Cup match against Argentina, England suffered at the hands of a now obese Argentinian legend who scored a goal with his hand. Name the filthy, bloated Argentinian cheat. No offense. Your options are Madonna, Belladonna, Maradona, Richard Donna, or Chicken Donna.
Maradona.
Ding, correct. Now there's a bonus point here. According to the greatest fat athletes of our time website, real thing, how fat in pounds was Diego Maradona's maximum listed playing weight in pounds? He rolled out onto the pitch, and I rolled him back again.
195 pounds.
220.
Wow. Wow. Holy Lord.
Playing weight.
That's how big it is. That's his
220.
That's 100
greatest.
kilos.
And he's a short guy.
He's a little bloke. I mean, I say,
Yeah.
he literally, there was a couple times they picked him up and tried to throw him in. They thought he was the ball.
Well, no wonder he had to use his hands. It's hard to lift those legs.
It
Okay.
wasn't his hand, it was the hand of God.
It was,
Oh,
God.
is that really what they
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
What he called it, yeah.
It was awesome. Ah, good days. Okay, Andres, the first World
Hand
Cup
of fat
kicked off on July 13th, 1930. France beat Mexico 4-1. Can you tell me how many teams played in the first ever World Cup?
I'm gonna guess 15.
I'm afraid it was 13.
Okay.
But
Close enough.
for a bonus point,
Can't get half a point on that, man.
can you give me 6 of the 13 competing teams?
Okay. France, Uruguay, Argentina. United States.
Actually, yes, oh, sorry, yes. Sorry, please continue.
Not England. How many did I get? I get 4.
You've got 3, sorry, yeah, you've got 4 so far, 2 more.
I'm gonna go with Brazil.
Yes. You have to push it. You have to push it.
And
It's impressive, regardless.
whatever, Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. No,
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 Bulgaria, okay.
no, you don't get the point.
Okay.
Got one
Can
more.
my questions be name 6 countries? I feel like
You got a better chance,
I
right?
would come real close.
Don't worry, it's
Antarctica?
nearly over, nearly over. Okay, Joe, one of the heaviest ever recorded defeats occurred in the 2002 World Cup qualifier between Australia and American Samoa. What was the final score? Multiple choices. Was it 19-0, 24-0, 28-0, or 31-0?
31-0.
Correct!
Did that really happen?
Really happened. Really happened.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that... I mean, that could start a war,
That's the
right? If I was American Samoa, I'd be like, you know what? That was we're going to war with Australia.
Well, there's a bonus point that kind of explains a little bit of the issue, is American Samoa were plagued with passport issues. How many of the original 20-man senior squad were actually eligible to play?
1.
Yes.
Wow!
The goalkeeper is the only one. They also ended up having to use 3 15-year-olds from the youth team. So the 31-0 seeming a little bit more.
I would guess the senior
Controversially.
team is not that good, by the way.
Controversially, at the end of the penultimate round, Joe has a half-point lead.
Wow.
Wow.
4.5,
Lord.
4. So this question matters, Anders.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Shirt swapping between players was officially prohibited by FIFA in 1986. Can you tell me why? You could just go for it for 2 points, or I can give you the multiple choice and it would be a 1-pointer.
Give me the choices.
Okay, was it a shirt-selling scandal? Fat supporters started doing the same. Female supporters started doing the same. FIFA simply disliked topless men, or no reason was ever given.
No reason was ever given.
I'm afraid it was given. It was because FIFA didn't want players to bare their chests on the field.
That's
I mean, if you've
Sounds
been
like an
there.
American thing.
Okay, so this is your... There's actually a real quick fire finisher off just to see if
Okay.
we can get your last legit question.
Yeah.
Which is the only team to have played in every World Cup? Would you like your multiple choice?
I'm going to eliminate England because they didn't play in the one that... Go ahead, I'll take the multiple choice.
Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Uruguay, or France?
Uruguay.
Brazil. You would have known that, wouldn't you?
I would
Everybody...
know that,
Oh,
yeah.
I can't sing that song.
No. How many times have Brazil won for a bonus point?
6 times.
Let him steal.
5.
5, correct.
Wow.
Okay, so Anders has a half-point lead
Yes.
heading into the quick-fire final round.
Okay, this is the final round. This is a nicknames. So I'm going to give you a national team's nickname. You've got to tell me who they are. Les Elephants.
Les Elephants. It's gonna be some African team with a French origin, so that could, it's not Cameroon, Morocco, Algeria.
No, I'm afraid it's the Ivory Coast.
Good
Ivory
logic.
Coast.
I would have
Good
said
logic.
Algeria. Good,
I like
good guess.
I
Good
like-
guess.
He's got aces. If you had aces, you were already.
Let's steal that call.
The Three Lions.
That's England.
And he takes the lead again.
The Bafana.
South Africa.
Yes.
Anders takes the lead again.
The Blue Samurai.
Japan?
China. The Azuri.
How is China the Blue Samurai?
I know. Hey, that's what it said on the website, but then again.
Okay.
The Azuri.
Azure is Italy.
That is correct. The Dothraki.
Hold on. I'm trying to think where they're actually from. What?
Don't everyone laugh, right? You blow my cover.
Westeros?
I think I've probably got to give that to him. It was just,
You have, but it doesn't make any difference because the final score is 6.5 points to Joe Stapleton, 7 points to our superfan Andres.
Wow, that was
Andres deserved it. I mean, he knew,
That was a good
he
game,
knew
man.
his World
Good
Cups.
go. Well done, man. That was
For the longest time, I thought the World Cup was the thing they wore to protect their...
Time's running out, Joe. Take us out.
All right, kid. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you
guys.
being on the show. Andres, the Glitch in the Matrix, Corn, thanks for being here. Now you can rub this in Nacho's face. That's all the time we've got for this week's episode of Poker in the Ears and the Eyes. Next time, we've got real Panama stories coming for you. I've got a doozy, but it's a little too risque for this Envision version of the show. Other things will be back. Social media, including some social media beefs. James had a good one this week. Movie and TV talk will be back. Go see Logan. You will not regret it. I want to talk about Logan with you guys so bad. For now, that's all the time we've got for this episode of the show. For Andres, for James, for Matt, I am Joe Stapleton. Smell you later.
We're going to play against chance in this hand. Felipe Ramos has just taken a seat at the feature table, so we are going to sweat with Felipe.
The Brazilian sensation.
Cornuth has just called in the small blind. Ramos checks his option. King 5 of hearts is his hand.
You know he's good at poker because he's got like every colored Yankee hat.
Well, he's flopped top pair.
I approve of the pre-flop check. I approve of the wardrobe. And blind on blind, we like this even though our kicker is pants.
Cornuth has checked. Ramos is betting 45,000.
A call here doesn't scare me too much. Chance would call with pretty much any pair.
He does call. We go to the turn, which is the Queen of Hearts. Ramos now has a heart draw to go with top pair. And looks like Cornuth is going to lead here.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Into a pot of 174,000, he bets 97,000.
We can't just fold, though. We've got top pair. And that was T-H-O, by the way, though. We can't fold, though. That's how the kids say it.
Ramos calls. The river is a third queen.
We'd really prefer he didn't bet again.
Cornuth does bet enough to put Ramos all in.
Wow, this is such a sick spot for us. This spot is sicker than the vomit scene from Team America.
What does he do here with a king?
I think Chance is rarely bluffing here, but he just lost a really big pot, and he could be trying to bluff us off a chop. He led the turn, and I don't think a bear king is going to do that. You can't blame us for calling, but I think I like a fold.
I call.
He calls. Cornuth tables a queen.
Just quads.
Felipe Ramos is eliminated. Hashtag death by quads.
Great to see you. Good game, man.
Hashtag sorry not sorry. Cloudy with a chance of quads.
Ramos, our 18th place finisher.
Good game, my man.
Bye, Felicia.
Safe travels, my friend. Yep. Oh, Kihiva, velho.
Poker School Online is the place to learn poker or improve your poker skills. To join, simply log into the PokerStars client, visit the school section, and choose your school password. Poker School Online is packed full of free poker bonuses, allowing you to practice and play in real money games on us. Take part in our regular monthly promotions where you can win seats into bigger PokerStars tournaments. There are free scratch cards where you can win daily tournament tickets via Scratch and Match. Each day, you'll have 2 free cards. Just scratch off the cards and you could win a prize. Another popular challenge is our Beginner's Bankroll promotion, allowing you to work your way through our poker missions, improving your game, and earning your free poker tournament tickets along the way. And if that's not enough promotions for you, there are unlimited tournament tickets and $5,000 free roll tickets you can earn via our Refer a Friend promotion. Simply refer a friend and you'll both receive prizes. Once you've built your confidence, it's time to compete in the Poker School Online. Skill leagues with $44,000 in prize money up for grabs every month, with up to $5,000 going to the winner. And if improving your game is what you're looking for, we have poker courses from Hold'em to Omaha, cash, sit and goes and tournaments, along with quizzes to test your newfound knowledge. There's live poker training where you can watch pros play poker in real time, view their hole cards and ask questions directly. See the live training schedule for the next session. Our poker forums are always buzzing with questions, advice, and tips. You'll find all types of players from beginners to pros discussing all areas of poker. Now you've heard what's available, it's time to get involved. Simply join Poker School Online. You may even be eligible for our welcome bonuses full of tickets and cash. Welcome to Poker School Online.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Panama and the PokerStars Championship main event, live from the Sortis Hotel Spa and Casino here in gorgeous Panama City. I'm Matt Brown. He is Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my Panamani babies.
And we are down to 9. Just 9 humans left out of the 366 that started.
9. Hit him with the 9.
And this is the 9. These are the 9. Over there's the 9. Short stacks from Michael Leck and Anthony Diot. Top of the table right now, Kenneth Smaran with 2.5 million. Denis Timofeyev and Robin Bosnischek with 2.1. Kind of 3 players that most immediately look to be sitting there or thereabouts in what we like to call the danger zone.
Danger zone!
But Jonathan Abdul-Latif has been all in a couple of times, been called a couple of times, survived a couple of times. But now that we're up to the 12,000, 24,000 with a 4K ante, pressure gonna mount pretty heavily on those guys in the bottom 4.
Danger zone!
Are you everything okay? Right, okay.
Sometimes the button gets stuck.
Sometimes it's just any trigger. It becomes very delicate. You've only got to say anything about Danger Mouse
Danger zone!
being one of my favorite cartoons as a kid.
I'm so often not paying attention that I just have a
you hear the word,
like a Google alert.
Yeah, if we ever have anyone in the field called Dan, then we're really in a lot of trouble.
Hello, my babies. Welcome to your final 9 players here in Panama. First ever. Second stop on the PokerStars Championship inaugural year. First time in Panama. Loving it here.
Hope you are loving that part of poker in the ears and eyes. I'm being corrected on 2 things. I'm totally just blaming it on a website I went trolling for information, is as well as the Bulgaria snafu with the runner-up thing. I'm also being told something that seemed really obvious at the time, which was that Blue Samurai is not China. It is Japan.
China?
It's what the website said, and I kind of wasn't really... It was 7 in the morning, to be honest with you. 2 days before I woke up really early, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to get back to sleep. I may as well do some work. I don't know a lot of World Cup trivia. Big as a fan of soccer as I am, I don't really retain that kind of pub quiz trivia. So I just trusted it. I don't think it
I
matters.
want that chop pot T-shirt, hoodie.
Really?
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't think it's the difference between you winning or losing, considering we gave you a pity half
Yeah,
point
because
anyway.
there's just so much. Well, also there's a lot of like handicapping that goes on.
So the fact that you had some basic spelling questions in amongst all the real trivia, I don't know.
Yes.
Under any circumstance.
Also, look, if we could do a behind the scenes podcast of a behind the scenes podcast,
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to win Superfan versus Sticks.
No.
So if things are close, like, look, I knew Brazil was the answer to
Yeah.
which team had won the most World Cups or had been in every World Cup. I knew it was Brazil because everybody plays the beautiful game out in Brazil.
Yeah.
And but I don't want to win, so sometimes I throw it. Salmon free betting 240,000 over the Open of Timofev. We've been 9-handed for almost a full level now, right?
Correcto. Yeah, James was wondering whether we'd get through the previous level without losing anyone, and within 6 minutes we were down to the 9. So yeah, best part of a full level with these guys. Remind you, there's no more redrawing now. Is that the draw that was done to get onto the last 9 stays the same right the way through all of today, all of tomorrow, until we crown a champion. When it gets down to one more elimination and we have just 8, that will become our official registered official final table. We will play today, as I understand the plan, to 6. If you're with us in recent years, you know that's how we do things here. Rather than getting down to the final table and ending, we get down to 6, and then we will come back tomorrow from 1 p.m. So whatever you've been doing so far, a lot of confusion over the time zones, whatever you've been doing so far, do that +1.
If you've been here on time.
Yeah.
Pot shaping up, shaking out. Those two things combined are what's happening to this pot. Jimmy Salmon, 3 bets before the flop, makes a bet on the flop, smaller than his pre-flop 3 bet, and he's going to get called by Timofev. I'm not sure if there's too much information we can glean from the flop action. Relatively small continuation bet, pretty standard in a 3-bet pot.
Yeah, a lot of what you're meant to be doing anyway, regardless.
I think that Jimmy would continue with most of his range. Which I think means that Timofev has to see a turn card with most of his. Obviously, the most likely holdings for a pre-flop 3-bet are all the big aces. Ace King and Ace Queen being the 2 most likely suspects. But the big pairs are out there as well. Not sure he fires twice with the big pairs. Kings and queens. Seems like the kind of situation where when you're ahead, you're going to get folds. When you're behind, you're going to get calls. And you're not going to bluff out better.
275,000 does the job. And James Salmon adds to his stack. He is now up to 1.6 million.
Jimmy smoked Salmon.
Yeah. Tyler was like, wow, what happened to Salmon having 2 million? There was a big confrontation much earlier on in the day. He's doing okay, but right now the 2 million men are Kenneth Samarin at the top of the table. Robin Wozniak's been very impressive in that last level, level 22. Showed some bluffs, made some moves. Kind of started the weird trend of just limping in pre-flop and getting a lot of four-way flops. But he has been very impressive. And it's really Jonathan Abdulatif and downwards. He has 29 bigs. Byron Kaverman has 25. Anthony Diot on 8. Just 8 big blinds now. And Michael Leck. The bad news is there's no money jump between 9th and 8th. Both spots get 35,920. To remind you, total prize pool here in Panama of 1.775 million. Top prize here, advertised as $293,860. A question came through from Drugi asking about why hole cards aren't being shown. Because we started the day with more than one table, we are still coming to you as a entirely live broadcast with cards down. We don't, in this penultimate day, stop things, change all the security measures, build up a delay, etc., etc. We stay as we are. Tomorrow, overnight, basically, we bring in the builders, we put up some curtains, we get lots of burly men with machine guns in strategic places.
Yep.
And then tomorrow we can bring you the cards up because that security will be installed and ready to protect the integrity.
It also takes us 2 to 3 hours just to learn the secret handshake.
Oh God, just getting past security, there's a lot of different handshakes. And if you get any one of them wrong, you have to go back to the beginning.
Yep.
It's like a video game. It's
You
like,
get it wrong twice, you get shot.
yeah, exactly. And then there's a big boss at the end, and that's really tricky out on the balcony. I don't know what's happening.
I'm practicing the handshake.
Oh, I see.
And up.
And then that's the one. Don't forget the thing Tito did has been incorporated as well now.
Did you see Tito touching you on the arm during
I
the
did.
broadcast?
It's like he touched me and then he just lingered on it and just.
He had no reason to keep touching you.
No. What I'm wondering, the only thing that I can.
And he wasn't touching your watch.
No, me and James watched it. The only thing I can imagine is he went to point to it, and maybe because my watch is like one of those Pebble ones that links to your iPhone. So I'm wondering if he touched my wrist, and then he realized that there was a lot of information because it's got this basic face I have, like gives you temperatures and dates and power and Wi-Fi and stuff. And I think he was maybe just reading my watch because it said a lot more than the time, which is what he was expecting. Or he fell immediately in love with me once he touched my smooth,
that's more what I thought.
Scented, moisturized, and pungent flesh. So I don't know why he touched me so. Although somebody pointed out at the very end of it, I give him a really dominant, over-the-top handshake as if I was trying to claim back my masculinity because he'd said I had a ladies' watch. At the end, I subconsciously tried to take control of the situation in an alpha male fashion. I think basically I was just being clumsy because it's hard to shake hands with a guy you're side to side with. But it was an interesting proposal.
Let's pick things up here. Timofev, the original Razor. Got a call from Harpreet Gill out of the cutoff, who is in position for this hand. There's no betting action on the flop. There has been a check raise on the turn, and that check raise is getting called. Nearly 600,000 in the middle as we go to the river, and it is a third diamond. Completes some straights, completes flushes.
Yeah, sweet bit of check raising. The pot was 182 before that. 65 went in, got the check raise up to 200. Drew the call from Gill.
Timofeyev could be a little worried about that diamond after he check raises the turn. Picked up diamond draw would be one of the hands that would snap call on the turn, just like Gill did. Gill, interestingly, can't beat 2 jacks, so he didn't have diamonds. Didn't have queen jack for a gut shot because he would have paired his queen. Tens? Trying to figure out what you snap call there with.
Unless he was getting ready to make a move and the way the river came just ruined all of his
Sure,
plans.
that could be it. Yeah, maybe he was floating the turn,
Yeah.
a really risky float, and he was going to bomb river. Didn't like the diamond himself.
Sylvia picks up a point I went to make last level, which is I don't really know why Harpreet Gill is still wearing his man bag. Sylvia says, why doesn't Gill put his man bag down? It must be so uncomfortable. He's had it on his personal day. Maybe it's just got something really valuable in it, and he just doesn't want to leave out, out of his sight. But yeah, it looks a bit clunky. That would have been straight under the chair as soon as I got out. But each to his own. One man's bag is another man's necklace.
It's an accessory.
It's an accessory. Maybe it's empty. It might not. It might be a dummy bag. It might not even operate as an actual satchel. So, maybe he just likes the feel of the restrictions across himself.
I honestly think what it is poker players carry a lot of money in their bags. They got casino chips, and they got money, they got cash, and they don't want to put it down.
Or he's got his sandwiches in there. Well, this has been snapped. And all in from Michael, who was super short. Just over the top of that. And then the call from Robin Wozniacek. So we've got ace-king covering the ace-queen and eights player.
We need a queen or some diamonds.
Straight no good?
Yep.
I mean, the eights are ahead right now. But if something fruity comes on the board, we could see a double elimination.
Something fruity like pineapples?
Pineapple sandwiches. Fruit.
Fruity.
It's exciting.
Triple up.
Everyone pretty excited. Everyone loved their situation.
Triple up or triple up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Double elimination situation. Aha!
Huzzah.
From worst to first.
The yacht loving life as he gets the 63% mark by his name so far. Remind you, it's Michael Letch is the player at risk. Not even a side pot to dream about.
He's down to 2 outs.
Quickly drink his coffee because they'll charge him for it if he's not in the game. And there is no 8.
Good game.
And that means that Lek is out as our final table bubble boy.
Ship the suck out to Canada. Ace-queen runs down ace-king and 2 8s.
Yep, so 35,920 for Michael. A tremendous showing. But we do now have our official final table of 8 here at the PokerStars Championship main event in Panama. Interesting. It's strange. We've not had too many car crashes like that. The cards just made it happen. The cards made me do it, Joe. I didn't want to, but the cards made me. And we can see Anthony Diot now, the shortest stack, but 23 bigs. Byron Caverman ahead of him with 25. 29 for Jonathan Abdelatif. Harpreet Gill. You can see how close those bottom far are. Then a jump to James Salmon with 68 bigs. Robin Wozniacek with just shy of 2 million. 80 bigs. 2.23 for Denis Timofeyev. And Kenneth Smarant still top of the pile with 2.5 million. Represents 107 big blinds. Average stack 1.2. So 4 of the players clear, 4 of the players underneath.
Your boy, the chip leader, Ken Smarin, opening this pot to 55,000. Onto the old luck box over here. The dream Diotti. Diotti folds the button. Wozniacek in the small blind. Calls. Timofeyev getting some pretty sweet pre-flop pot odds. Coming along for the ride.
Why not? You're not in a great spot, but life could be much simpler. 5, 6, 7, 2 clubs. Hit it or don't hit it. It's as simple as that. Of course, all of the momentum with Kenneth Smaron. Pre-flop raiser could try and take control of it. Opts to check it. 3-way to the turn. The jack of spades.
Hey, no, that's justice for the ace-king versus ace-queen.
Still conversation around the room about the ace-king, ace-queen, pocket eights hand. Check, check, check. Everyone has quite simply lost interest in this. A deuce and a third club on the end seems unlikely to do much other than give someone perhaps the confidence to take a showdown with a small pair. Timofeyev has got the opportunity to steal it here if he thinks that a bet will get rid of his opponents. Or is it a trap? Opportunity sensed and grasped by Dennis. 110,000 to call. Bit over half the pot. We're going to get to see it. Wozniacek still, of course, in the way. Might have something he thinks he's getting the value to take a look. Or suddenly just pull out one of those crazy wicked moves.
Wicked move. Have things been relatively passive most of the time, like they were in the first level of the day? So a lot of checking around on streets?
Yeah, a lot of passive stuff. The odd kind of spike, but pretty kind of solidly just getting the job done. Nobody's really done much. Wozniacek has probably been the more unusually aggressive outside of what you would just expect, statistically speaking. Obviously, the likes of Diot and Lek, who obviously now is left, you know, were just sort of sitting tight. Love this.
That's a move.
That's definitely a move, and definitely familiar territory.
It's a flush.
Timofeyev got to stare this down, and if it isn't a flush, are you absolutely sure, players? Are you happy to call him and show the jack? Are you happy to have some tiny piece of this board that's brave enough?
This is a flush. If this is not a flush, I will eat my hat. I should warn you, however, my hat is a delicious empanada.
The only problem is we saw him do a very similar move like this a little while back, and then he showed a complete bluff that was a 7-8. This time, I believe, he's got the goods.
Man, I really wanted to eat my hat.
Oh, man.
Starving.
And that's the beauty of the move we saw in the last level, where he pushed on this aggression in quite a tricky spot where you've got a lot of players interested. On that time, he showed the 7-8 and had absolutely nothing. This time he has. Stone cold flush, second nuts. And that is superb for Robin Wozniacek. Gets him into first spot now. He has just taken over the lead from Kenneth Smaron for the first time. 2.47 versus 2.41. Timofeyev with 1.89 million. Bingo, bango, and Might I Venture bongo. Still an hour on the clock. We're going to step away because next door neighbors, the high roller, still got some superstars of poker. We thought it might be worth checking in with those guys just to tickle your fancies. You will find the likes of Stephen Chidwick sitting there next to Sam Chartier, Don't forget that PokerStars blog is a great place if you want to find out a bit more than just staring at the gorgeous faces of Steve O'Dwyer. And
Steve and his many faces.
He has many. Felipe Ramos. Just pointing to his new T-shirt he bought. Very nice.
I thought he was pointing to his new bicep.
100% cotton.
100% cotton bicep.
Bryn Kenny and Daniel Voris. And Sergio Ido. Paul Newey with a, I mean, it's pretty trademark shirt.
For him, that's a quiet one. He must be having an off day.
That's pretty decent nonetheless. And then it is the chip leader. Changed his name from Luke to Sam overnight.
There
Sam
he is.
Greenwood. There are 24 players left in the 10K high roller, incidentally. 15 will pick up some money. 274,740 first prize. Just short of our first prize here in the main event. Plenty going on here in Panama. And to remind you what James was talking about is that there's a leaderboard across all of the events that have taken place, and there'll be a champion of champions here. Somebody who will be top of the leaderboard across all the events here. Already we know that Bryn Kenny is going forward as the best of the best from the Bahamas. And at the beginning of 2018, all of these leaderboard champs will come together for a big tourney.
Matt, who won the Bahamas?
Who won the Bahamas?
Yeah.
What, the whole of the Bahamas?
The PokerStars Championship main event in the Bahamas?
Don't know. You
Wait.
know my memory.
It was Johnny Bags. It was Christian Harder.
Christian Harder.
Christian Harder.
Well done. Man, I mean, you're just throwing us both under the bus asking questions like that without James in the room. Sebastian Mallets? Elke?
I'm going to make it a point to remember all of the PokerStars Championship winners.
Christian Harder. Oh, sorry. Sorry, the moment's gone now, hasn't it?
I'm going to recite them like the little girl from Game of Thrones. Christian Harder. Kenneth Smarin. I mean, there's only two, so, well, one. Just taking a guess, Kenneth Smarin. I don't know anything about what's going to happen,
I was going to
guys.
say, I mean, there's security delays, and then you're sitting here with me, but you already are from the future. This one instantly raised up by the aforementioned, perhaps, champion-to-be. Certainly, it's 7-1. 55,000 raised from Kenneth Smaron, called by Timofeyev. There's a 8 high flop, 8-6-3, 2 hearts on board,
That's
178.
my favorite flop.
Really?
8-6-3, 2 hearts. Doesn't happen very often.
Smitty's saying, was that my bonus high roller coverage? Yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Thanks, Smitty. We knew you'd ask, so before you asked, we thought we'd get in there first and show you some of the action. You are incredibly welcome.
Nice bet, Dennis. Hey, Dennis, where's Mac and Sweet D, huh? Where's Mac and Sweet D? Dennis?
That's going to be some American cultural reference I don't get.
It is.
Correct. Timofeyev, 1.8 million, best part thereof right now. Again, it's a table of 2 halves. We've got 4 of the 8 players over 1.5 million, and half the table 700-ish and under. But, okay, got an hour on the level. No particular pressure. It's, you know, 8-handed, so people can take their time a bit more. Don't panic is what I'm trying to say. Don't panic.
So there's this really famous comedian in the States. His name's Chris D'Elia.
Uh-huh.
And I have personal beef with him. And I'm not a huge fan of his comedy, but I will admit that he's very good.
When you say you have personal beef, does he know of you? Or
I
you
don't
mean
think he knows me. We live in the same neighborhood, but he tried to hook up with one of my exes once in a very creepy way, and also one of my good friends.
Gotcha.
And he has a podcast now, and he opened his last podcast my friend informs me by saying, hello, my babies.
Now, as funny enough, we had a conversation, myself and James. If you steal from a thief, does that make you a thief?
I don't understand what relevance this has.
Well, only because you have previously told me that "Hello, my babies" is kind of a derivation of someone else's.
No, that's Uncle Daddy.
Oh, Uncle Daddy. Uncle Daddy. Sorry.
Hello, my babies came from a friend of mine who was doing a show, a one-man show called I Am Not Mark Twain, where he dressed up like Mark Twain and told and basically it was like a monologue, like a 45-minute monologue. And he would be like, I was driving down the road, my babies. And he would occasionally say, my babies, mid-speech. So
yes,
I
you've told me that before.
liked that. So I just opened things with like, hello, my babies. But that actual phrase wasn't in the in the show.
Okay.
But stuff like Danger Zone and all that, obviously, like I didn't come up with that. It's
No.
more of a reference than I'm not trying to take credit for
No,
those
that's
jokes.
And what do you plan to do about this theft?
Oh, nothing. That's right, J-Cat. He Schumered me. He Amy Schumered me. Rand Grander says, hello, my baby is a Tin Pan Alley song written in 1899 by the songwriting team of Joseph E. Howard and Ida Emerson, known as Howard and Emerson.
Hello, my baby.
Correct, and I think it's probably fine to sing it.
Yeah, everyone involved in that is most definitely dead.
So we do have some action happening. Go on, Matt.
No, I was going to say, isn't that the song? There's is it Spaceballs or something? There's something where there's an alien parody where the alien comes out and does a song.
Correct.
That's it. Sorry, that's it. That's all I wanted.
They even
to say.
got John Hurt for the scene, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes, as my colleague Joe Sable said, there was action. It was a raise from Ken Smarron to 55. Got the re-raise, I'm sure, after ages from Byron Caverman on the button. He's been pretty quiet. You would give a fair amount of gravity to that re-raise from Byron, I would say, personally. And now it is back on Ken deciding what to do. Joe Carroll saying, now I get the earlier bluff. That's the conversation we had about your boy Robin Vosnicek, where you didn't understand while he showed the 7-8. See, now no one knows what they're doing. Now no one knows what to make of this young lad.
I mean, I knew it was a flush.
You knew it was a flush. But had you been sat with us in the last level, you would have done exactly the same thing where he turned over actually nothing.
I did see that hand, actually, and I did
Now I might have to
see Twitter's reaction. So, Smarron open, Caverman 3-bet, almost a full 3x. And Smarron's just jammed for 2.3 million. He's the second biggest stack at the table. But it's real close between him and Wozniacek. When he wins this pot, he will be the biggest stack at the table. I think he might have been the biggest stack going into this hand. Real close between the two of them, though. Caverman's tournament life on the line. 16 big blinds in his stack.
And we are now at a point where there's a big difference. There's about 12 grand between 8th and 7th spot payout-wise. So, whereas up until this spot, it wouldn't have made any odds. Now, actual real-life money to be considered.
I'm sure that's exactly what Byron's thinking about right now, thinking about his equity in the entire tournament. If he takes a flip here, if he's dominated. He's already won over $1 million this year.
Yeah, lifetime earnings of $9.5 million. But he didn't get to that lifetime earnings without worrying about every 12 grand here and there. Look after the pennies, and the pounds will take care of themselves, Joe.
Interesting.
Thank you.
A minute earlier, I would have folded. It's a fun spot.
He looks like he's having fun.
Poker's fun. Being asked, is this live? Yes, top right of your screen, confirmation, live. It just feels like slow motion because Byron Kaverman is in the hand. He's gone for it.
I have a small pair.
And a small pair. Sick brag. Threes versus King Jack. It's kind of, it might as well be Ace King versus Queens. King Jack versus Pocket Trays, not quite so sexually exciting.
Speaking of, like giving versus receiving, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Perfect.
What? Wasn't the plan.
Three's the slight favorite.
Oh, man. And the diamonds of no use to the King Jack. Don't stand up just yet. Don't you stand
I think
up.
unless we're chopping, that is going to be it.
That's a pretty strong flop, let's be honest. It was the best hand pre, so that's going to be drawing dead, and we are going to lose in 8th spot. Byron Kaverman with 35,920 for his troubles.
And the table can breathe a sigh of relief as we lose our most experienced live player, our most accomplished live player, I should say.
Because somebody told me something about him, like, because I've never really played with him much live, which is weird because we played a lot of the same tournaments in high rollers. But like, I've never really been to this table except like one time. And somebody told me something that, but I couldn't fucking like get the camera chips. Something he was capable of doing. Don't matter. Hands over. I won. He lost. He won. He won.
Wow. Easy peasy. And there we see Kenneth back up nearly 3 million in chips now. Jumps ahead of Robin Vosnicek.
Everybody always comments about a hand. Like, they get mad when they get someone shoves or calls them. Who gives a fuck? Like,
Did someone prompt this speech?
It's not something I'm aware of.
I have a reason for why I did it. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're fine, man. You're fine. Like, what are you talking about?
There we go.
Lower the shield, man.
Lower the shield.
He definitely feels guilty about something.
I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Nobody said anything.
We can't believe you did that.
Unbelievable with the pocket threes. What are you thinking? That guy could do with one of our pineapple sandwiches. So fruity and yet still full of carbs. They do it toasted as well, Joe, with cheese.
A pineapple sandwich toasted?
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, you know, like there's like a huge
movement
against like pineapples on pizza.
It's like having raisins in curry. That's a big
doesn't
issue.
bother me.
It's fine.
That's it for you, man.
I know on paper it makes no sense, but if it tastes good, it feels good. Do it. Yeah, just do it. So everyone now, incidentally, worth mentioning, guaranteed a payout of at least 48,520 now that we are 7 and up. Big jumps now. It goes from 48.5 to 65.5. Goes to 88.5. Top prize, 293,860. Unless there's some incredible 6-way all-in, we aren't going to get to that today.
Smarin, still stacking chips or?
Unbelievable.
No, just another pot. I mean, guys, I don't know. Like, I just. Oh, well.
Abdul Latif gone private detective there.
What? I mean, let's hope it was. He's a fan of the logo. You know there's cameras everywhere, buddy.
Jonathan, you want to watch out. I don't know what that bit of spy work was.
Oh, boy.
Oops.
Oh, boy.
Ed Kilworth, lots of dishes have fruit in them. Thanks, Ed. Always great to have your input.
Oh, 24, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was too busy taking a picture of your
of
logo.
Some people. Paul Walsh, very much not a fan of the pineapple sandwich idea. I mean, he's been quite hard about it. I think it's quite a delicious idea myself. I think toasted is going to work for me better than just floppy bread. Timofeyev has made it 55,000. Old money bags. Kenneth Smaran is like, yeah, just whatever.
Kenneth Smaran doesn't care what you think.
He's like Honey Badger. He's the Honey Badger of Panama. That's a good nickname, actually. I quite like that. Like the. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. No one else is going to pick it up. Smitty is loving life in the free roll. Good. Do enjoy yourselves if you're still playing. There were a few boasts coming through when people were cashing in the free roll. Always good to see. He is 70th of 745. Good luck to all the players still in that. Last chance tomorrow. We don't know how long we're going to have on the day now because we are very much about losing one more player. We've got 3 players 30 big blinds and under. It could happen quickly. It could take hours. But just in case it happens soon, remind you that tomorrow we will be back an hour later than today with the delay, with the cards up.
Ace is going to be quite good.
Blinds and antes take a long while to get gathered up. It's like
it's a hard job.
Sometimes that takes longer than the actual hand.
Especially three-handed and heads up. When we were doing the rehearsal, and Clara was dealing for us, and I was at the table and we were three-handed, I was like, guys, this is just so much work for her. Can we just stop now? She's not even done dealing the cards and 2 people have folded. It's just...
Software is saying, does anybody even know what the argument was about? It wasn't really an argument. No one called Smaran a donkey. I guess he just felt a bit silly about when he got called and said, I've got a small pair, which was fine. And then he improved to trips, which was fine. And I don't know why he suddenly went into defensive mode and everyone was like, whoa, buddy, get the shields down. The thing is, just the fact you make the move, you could have anything in your hand. It really doesn't matter. The fact you got called and had to show it, that obviously slightly blows your cover. Jonathan Abdul-Latif taking one down there. He's 32 big blinds now. One of the 3 players down the bottom of out, remaining 7. Harpreet Gill behind him with 622,000. That's 25 bigs. And Anthony Diot, the shortest stack at the table, 488,000. Equates to 20 bigs with 48 minutes on this level.
We'll do it at the next level. Start the next level. Yeah. If there is one. If there is one.
Lath is saying, do you actually have to wait for your turn before you look at your cards? No.
Nope.
As soon as you're dealt them, you can look at one when it gets dealt to you if you want, and then wait for the other one to come up.
One of the first pieces of poker advice I ever got from a 2-4 limit player, that's $2, $4 limit, said don't look at your cards one at a time. You're more likely to play hands you shouldn't.
Because you get excited about the king, and
Right.
then along comes the 7, and you go, king!
Let's just do it anyway.
King. I don't mind that advice. A race from Moneybag Smarren, 50,000. All in from Diot. Anthony in the small blind, going to put it all on the line.
The dream, Diotti. Yeah, and this is the same guy, though, the same game where I accidentally, like, exposed, like, an ace-3 I was folding or something, and the whole table was aghast because it's a jackpot place, a bad beat jackpot.
Oh, I
so
see.
you have to play every ace you're dealt.
Like 2.
I love those places.
3 strikes, they double. What happened to
You really think you're gonna double versus me?
Oh, maybe not against you. What happened to the wedgie? There was a promise of a wedgie.
When he gets up, he's getting a wedgie.
He's getting a wedgie?
Yeah, for sure.
You better gain about 100 pounds first.
I don't think he gained 100 pounds.
He's from Philly, man. I don't know. He might know some moves. Some Philly moves, right? Yeah.
How do you think that Liberty Bell got cracked?
Covert wedgie techniques? Yeah, like ninja wedge master.
What are your thoughts on people from Philly?
Well, I would insult them, but they're such human garbage bags, they'll probably throw a brick through my window. Oh, I should not have said that. I should not have just said that.
So
That
I'm
was
here
not
with
smart.
James Hardigan in the booth. Give you his home address, postcode, and direct number shortly. Joe will be joining me again in a little while. Big fan of the Philly crew. Philly Flash. James will be somewhere enjoying that joke. That's my second Superman 3 reference this week. I don't do them often, but 2 have just come through quite naturally. It's always pleasing on the mouth. Ken Smarren makes it 63,000 while I'm busy being ignored by audience and co-commentators alike. Dennis in
You
the
didn't
big
want me to
blind.
go running with that in the mouth.
No, I know. It was a. I'd like to test you every now and then.
Can we fist bump or is that's not illegal?
The only problem, Nick, with the Philly cheesesteak is it's just so hard to eat without just totally getting in a mess. I always seem to run into those in like a street market and just regret it as grease just runs down my elbows, thinking, how does anyone eat this food?
My guess is that you've probably never had an authentic Philly cheesesteak.
You're probably right.
Because technically a Philly cheesesteak is supposed to have cheese whiz on it.
Did you get my cheese whiz, boy?
Yes.
Is that like out of a can?
Basically, yes.
I only know it because there's a line in Blues Brothers where a guy goes, "Did you get my cheese whiz, boy?" And he throws him a can of like aerosol.
Yes. Cheese whiz is basically nacho cheese. It's not supposed to technically have. Most nice Philly cheesesteaks places have sliced cheese. They put it on top of the steak. They melt it in. It's all gooey.
Yeah.
Cheese whiz, is liquid cheese. You don't have to melt it.
That sounds just appalling. Who invented it? What was happening in the world where somebody went, do you know what we need? We need to somehow, you see this cheese, Dave, you see this cheese. We need to get this cheese here. We need to somehow get it into one of these. This spray can. I want you and your team to work on it. You got 2 months, you got $3,000. I need to get this cheese into this can. Come back to me. I don't want to hear from you until
That's a negative way of looking at it, Matt. Maybe some scientists were working on the cure for cancer and accidentally came up with canned cheese as a byproduct, like they did with Viagra.
So the product manager turned up, said, any progress? No, nothing whatsoever. By the way, what's that? That's nothing? That's just an accident? Well, tell me about that. Tell me about that. I've got to go back to the board. Well,
We need something. We need something to show the guys upstairs.
Well, we were just playing around with, dispersal systems, and Gary, he had some cheese in his sandwich. So anyway, don't worry about it. It's cheese in a can. Well, look, tell me more about that. And that
here at Kraft Cancer Research.
And they went, do you know what? We're not so good at the first bit, but boy, can we put dairy products into inappropriate containers. Well, I enjoyed that. We're back with you now, everybody. Every now and then we just have to go away. Just go away and have some fun. We're back now. Smarren has made it 62,000, being called by Robin Wozniacek on the button. Remind you, we're down to the last 7 players. Just one more player to exit. And then that's a wrap for today. Day 5 will conclude with 6 final tablists left.
Ms. Proppet on Twitch says, Joe Stapleton, I'm a London resident from Philadelphia who's currently searching the web for your address. If you're going to throw a brick at my apartment in California and Los Angeles, you're going to have to do a good job to miss the bullet holes. So
make sure you wrap the brick in cheese.
And that is a completely true statement.
Actions on Dennis here. He is considering his position, the price, his opponents. What's for dinner?
There was a high-speed chase that ended in the intersection where my apartment building is in LA a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy ended the chase. It was in a convertible by standing up out of the convertible and raising his fist in the air and screaming, "I did it for the swag." And when the cops were arresting him, they said, "Are you on drugs?" And his response was, "What is drugs?"
I'm definitely never visiting you.
James had to stay with me once when his flight got canceled. I made him eat Taco Bell. You know what? He liked it. To bring it back to cheese. Let's catch up.
Yeah,
here
there's
on
been
this
a
hand.
re-raise. Just as I said that Timofeyev was thinking about his options and all the other stuff, he made a nice little cheeky re-raise, got rid of everybody, and he is sitting pretty with over 2 million now. One of 3 players over 2 million. He's got 2.14. Robin Wozniacek has got 2.3, and nearly 3 million for Kenneth Smaran. Ego Sova says, "Hello from Russia." Hello, Russia. Go Timofeyev. Yeah. I hear you. A lot of players to like here, I got to be honest. Don't know so much about Harpreet Gill. He only came into our sort of vision the beginning of the day. Anthony Diot has never really had enough chips to get much of a feel for his game, but Abdul Latif, Salmon, Timofeyev, Wozniacek, Smaran, we've seen a lot of these guys in the last few days. Excellent players. Good fun to watch. Nice and fast as well. Aggressive when they need to be. Lunastonk popped up in Twitter. Don't forget hashtag PokerStars TV with an interesting thought about how to save time that just the player on the button should pay the antes for the whole table. I get you. The only problem is if somebody gets moved, they're going to ask for a refund. I mean, I know we don't have that problem now. We're down to 7. But if somebody leaves, do they feel somehow they want to work backwards and see if they've still got a chip in a chair?
It seems like, yeah, there are some scenarios where it might not work out the right way. But that's how we did on the big game.
Yeah.
When it's one table and 6 people and it's a cash game, the button ante would pay $600.
Yeah.
$100 for each player.
Yeah, I think there are situations where clever little shortcuts like that really help. Sometimes it just complicates things, especially if you've got someone who's not super cool and wants to make a fuss. This was a raise, incidentally. Ken, under the gun +1, made it 6,200. Got a call from James Salmon's big blind defense. He's been pretty quiet for a while now. A flop, King 7 deuce, 2 diamonds brought a continuation from Ken of 55,000. James called. And this is where we are now. 9 of spades on the turn, 274,000 in the middle. James once again opening the door. It was a check call post flop from James Salmon. And now Smaran slows down a tad. 3rd diamond.
Check, right?
Check.
Yeah. Smaran missed the flop. Maybe could have got a fold on the end. Probably not, though, with the line he was taking. He would have had to really sell his story.
Yeah, probably more times than not an unprofitable move to even attempt it. Just happy to give up and check it down. Now, canned whole chicken. Is this a real thing, Joe? Because Dana Craven is throwing that into the mix as worse than nacho cheese. How do you can a whole chicken? You mean like a roast chicken with legs and breasts and everything? Is that what a can?
Maybe she means the can is a solid piece of chicken.
Ah, okay.
Like reconstituted.
Oh,
hey,
man.
here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Oh, I could really do with one of those. Look at that. Smooth.
Red wine at a poker table never looks right. Unless it's Jennifer Tilly. I mean, come on. What is that?
Oh, see, that works for me right now.
I mean, I'm a complete alcoholic, so it looks delicious. However,
Delicious. That red wine. How was it, sir? It looks delicious. I have a bottle. What's your most delicious looking red wine?
I mean, Matt was at dinner with me last night. I would just put my empty glass out, and they'd go red or white, and I just go, just pour it.
The worst thing was at one point there was about a centimetre of white, and he was like, the red, no, just, it was like, again, Blues Brothers, just, yeah, just pour it. Just pour it. And you ended up with like a glass of this kind of almost orange wine. I said, Joe, glug, 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 fill it up again. And there are people in the world who say, well, you shouldn't ever add wine to wine, because obviously they are, no, give me a straw. Under the gun raise here from Kenneth Smarron. Round to Dennis.
Smarron.
And that is a 3-bet to raise up to 175. Again, the yellows 25s. The blues are 5s. A nice big healthy chunky yellows will get the job done most of the time. Classy final table, says I be smoking. Hey, do you know what?
Chin chin.
Chin chin, exactly. Salut. It's been quite social, quite chit-chatty, considering the different range of nations represented, as always, at our events, but here on our final 7.
And you know who I trust as an authority as to what be classy?
Yeah.
A man whose screen name is I Be Smoking. The authority on class.
Being sent some clips explaining the idea of chicken in a can. It looks absolutely appalling. Thanks for that. Re-raise 175 has got through Jonathan Abdelatif. And now the small blind of James Salmon.
Still have the big blind to act. He's out of there. Back to the original raiser, who fold. Oh no, he is not folded. He's reaching for big chips.
Oh man, this can of chicken. Oh my God. That's like a Ridley Scott film.
One of the good ones.
Man, that's like John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm waiting for the legs to grow out of that and it to walk across the plate.
Can you go back to the part where it fell out of the can?
I don't really want to. Let's just give me a minute to recover. Oh, that's
that looks like a chicken accidentally stuck its head in a tin can. Big pot brewing over here. 414,000 in the middle. Jack 9-7, 2 clubs. I would prefer, by the way, the liquid cheese in a can to chicken in a can.
I agree,
and it's not even a race.
I've only just found out that both things exist. Here's the unboxing that you requested.
Thank you. I'm trying to watch the poker at the same time.
Well, it's just changes.
That's it. That's the
check, check. We get a free. Oh, hello. Hello now. 2 spades, 2 clubs, 7, 8, 9, jack. People eat that?
I mean, not that I've ever heard of.
Smarron trying to work out what to make of this. Going to get back on the offensive.
And Smarron's turn bet gets the job done.
Nice. Nicely done. Just for a minute there, Timofeyev was trying to take control of it, and then Smarron wrestled it back. Thank you ever so much. Don't forget PokerStars TV on Twitter. Always appreciate your interaction. Please, no more pictures of canned chicken. In stark contrast to chicken in a can, the PokerStars Championship moves to Sochi. The Sochi Casino and Resort, the biggest poker tournament ever held in Russia, due to come on the 20th to 31st of May. You can qualify now on PokerStars for that main event. And there's a guaranteed prize pool of approximately $2.6 million.
At PokerStars Championship Russia, chicken cans you.
Wow.
Think about that.
Just think about that. Let's just think about that for a second. Whew.
I suppose if we were in a Walking Dead type situation, chicken in a can would be like a real treat.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
that would be interesting on the show, like the one food people still won't eat. They're like, no, I'm good. Sardines, no thanks. Marmite, ugh. I'd rather starve. Hijack versus Big Blind.
Yeah, 55,000 from the hijack. Timofeyev been called by Ken Smaran, who seems to be playing pretty much every single hand since he became a giant at the table. Ace, 8, 4, 2 diamonds down, 150,000. Check to Timofeyev. Got the 6 of clubs on the turn. 240,000 to fight over. Big blind checks. Got a feel for Joe on Twitter who said goodnight, was off to bed, and then saw the chicken. Good luck getting to sleep with that in your mind. Absolute nightmares guaranteed.
Just watch the blood test scene from The Thing if you want to watch something less disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. To cleanse the brain palette, as it were. Timofeyev dragging some of those 25,000 chips into action here.
Yes.
Ooh,
175,000 into a pot of 240. Get out of my pot is what this bet says. But no. Yet he persisted.
Jack of clubs on the river, 590,000 in the pot.
Smaran checks.
I mean, is this just expert milking from Farmer Smaran? Or is
this is when the cow milks itself?
Yeah. Red Wolf points out, Honey Badger don't care. Smaran is out. Panama Honey Badger. Get rid of him if you can. He's either got all the cards right now or all the moves. Hasn't put a foot wrong for a while. Wonder if this will be one of those pots that comes back to bite him.
This seems like a tough spot to go for thin value when you get that bet called on the turn. I think that medium strength hands are just going to check behind here most of the time and hope to win at showdown. I think that Timofeyev at this point could be facing the prospect of having missed. So he may feel inclined to bluff. He may have a total air ball here. Hand like king, queen of diamonds. Something that, you know, that he bet big on the turn, hoping for a fold. Didn't get there in the river. And then, of course, he's got his very strong value hands.
235. I thought it was about... it looked like he made a full motion, then changed his mind, but actually he just looked like he dropped to... want to make sure I had all the chips. Yeah, oh, look at this. I mean, this is sophistication. I am considering your raise with a glass of Merlot. 240, excuse me, I missed one of the blues, clearly.
Now this bet drops back down below half pot again. Seems like he wants a call.
That's what he wants you to think, that he thinks you want him to think.
Sure. I mean, I think ace-jack is a strong possibility here for value hands. With the size of this bet, maybe I have to say he's can have ace-king sometimes. It's just weird. That's such a big bet on the turn. It's like hard to get 3 full streets with just an ace. We'll see.
Yep, Smirn makes the call. Ace-5.
It was the bluff.
7.
It was the bluff from Timofeyev. He did semi-bluff the turn, picked up an open-ender, had no equity. I would have guessed that if he were bluffing the river that he would have made that bet a little bit bigger, and he probably could have got a bad ace to fold. I feel like he really had a strong read on the hand. On the turn, it seemed like that's exactly what he was doing. He wanted to bet big, get a bad ace to fold. Smarin did not fall for it, and had a pretty, feels like a pretty trivial call on the end with top pair with that size bet.
But, you know, again, I mean, your first instinct when you see the size of the bet from Timofeyev is go, well, it's dropped back down, and it looks like he wants the call, and maybe that was really just the best that Denis Timofeyev could do, is just try and make it look good. But Kenneth Salmon's hand way too strong, now over 3.6 million. Timofeyev is down to 1.4. Still got 4 players over $1.5 million-ish. I'm going to give Timofeyev the extra there to make it easier. And then Jonathan Abdulatif, 708,000. Harpreet Gill, 562. Anthony Diot, 554. 2 players on 23 bigs. 25 minutes on this level. Word reaches me that our colleague, James Hartigan, has made the mistake of looking at the picture of the canned chicken. I only pray he didn't look at the video that Paul sent, because that is a real...
At least the picture with the chicken was intact.
Yeah.
In the video, it just comes spilling out like someone who ate a chicken has just been disemboweled.
Yeah, I mean, I dare you, James Hartigan, to look at Paul Walsh's video and make it all the way to the end without having to look away.
The dream, Diotti.
All in for his last 578,000. There was a raise from Timofeyev. Got called from Harpreet Gill, so this is a great spot because there's that added value. It's an all-in squeeze. Gill's been pretty quiet, pretty tight, so could find himself up against a legit hand. He does fold. All in to call. All or nothing for these 2 players right now. Both short stacked, so...
This could be it.
This could be it.
Why, Canada? Why? Why do it to each other?
It's just silly. There's no reason to do that.
We're fighting over the last Labatt's.
That's a beer.
Ding!
Yes. He looks like a man folding, doesn't he?
He does look like he's folding. I mean, he's had his bag on all day, though. He's ready to go.
He's got his swimming trunks in there and half a Kit Kat. His mum always insists he has those 2 things with him because you never know.
Maybe it's just like having a really skinny girlfriend sitting on your lap all day with her arm around you. Comforting. Like a really weak hug.
Like those man pillows.
Yeah, the body pillow.
The body pillow. So it's all good. We don't lose anybody. Harpreet Gill is down to 20 big blinds. Anthony is up to 712. You can see who has improved on the day. Holy moly, Kenneth Smaran up by 2.5 million on the day. 1.12 million for Robin. it's really just bad news for Timofeyev, who's down nearly 700,000, and Gil, who has lost half his stack.
Kenneth Smarin having a great day and doesn't care what you think about it.
Again, remind you, tomorrow you get the cards up, guys. Tonight, we put up the really thick curtains. We get some guys with sticks and hats. They feel very special. They just want a uniform. It's like that guy out of 300. He just wants a uniform. That's all they want.
They want is to be a part of something.
See, it's such a shame there aren't skits, especially now there's 3 of us, because I see Hartigan and Xerxes. I see me like with the painted on abs, and you just hunched over. And with spears and with shields. It writes itself. We don't even have to make them comedy. We just remake them. I just want to see Hartigan covered in gold with things stuck to his nostrils. Meanwhile, Kenneth Smarin has raised it from the button, 65,000. You're watching PokerStars TV.
He's fairly androgynous. He's like a Ken doll down there.
Smooth. Small blind of Anthony Diot making a decision here. Robin Wozniacek has been a little quiet of late.
Haven't seen a good old-fashioned small blind 3-bet against a button in a while. This old chestnut.
Yeah, there was a time you couldn't move for them.
It's a classic tale.
The guy who was all in the last hand finds himself making that move on the small blind. What's Wozniacek making this? He's smirking because he knows that there's a chance to be an absolute superstar, but
Take my mic off.
Lets it go. A lot of people reporting that they've been mentally scarred between the canned chicken and the Hartigan Xerxes crossover. Really can't wait for one more player to get eliminated. Maybe like Google videos of windmills or something just to cleanse your brain. We've put a lot of rubbish in there, some really potent stimuli in the last hour. Go shake hands with an old man. Just try and wash those dirty thoughts away. Action going to be under the gun here on Jonathan Abdulatif.
What are you going to do with that photo, Jonathan, huh? What are you going to do with that photo?
That was really weird. Who was that then, eh? What's that you think you spotted? Action's on James, who doesn't normally tank fold, so one would like to think there's a legit process going on underneath that dapper hat. Yep, sure enough. I tell you what I like about James's actions is he works out exactly what he's going to do in his head. He doesn't start picking up chips and thinking. It's like in his head he's gone, I'm going to make this 70, and then just goes 70 chips, blosh.
Because he's smooth as smoke.
He is smooth. It's very hard to get any kind of reads because he's just immobile. Then he makes his decision, and then he just does it. There's no thinking about it. He doesn't play with his chips and give anything away. There's your change. Heads up to the flop. 204,000 in the middle. 18 minutes on the clock.
The old limp call. I love it.
Yeah. That's something he got off Robin Wozniacek. Now Abdulatif giving it a go. 4, 6, 7. Eyes down for Badugi.
I think I really like a limp call check raise here. Salmon doesn't bite.
Nice. You're getting ready for tomorrow, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Abdelatif, who limp called with aces, now sees a 4-card straight out there. He's like, oh boy, I better bet it now. What am I doing?
204,000 in the middle, and now this bet of 104. So 104 for 308. You do the math. Gives it up. One person acknowledged my Badoogie reference. Thanks. Thanks, Twitch. And Jonathan Abdelatif climbing out of the danger zone.
Danger zone!
But still on 33 bigs, just behind Anthony. Harpreet Gill currently dangling.
Dangling's out. No.
At $500,000-ish. 16 minutes on this level. And then a break. I don't know what's coming after the break. We've used up all the poker in your ears and eyes now, so that's that done.
Whoops.
Seems like a lot of effort for like 3 breaks. James enjoyed the fact that when you signed off, you referred to the poker, the hour-and-a-half poker, as like a break.
Yes, that was
come
funny.
back.
His joke was funny.
That was, and I think it says a lot about where the value is in the broadcast.
We gotta get through all this poker stuff so that we can go back to talking about soccer.
Being teased with the opportunity to bring you boys and girls at home a PokerStars moment, including perhaps Andre Akari in the shark cage. Would you like that? Press 1 now.
Or Mayu Roca, Colombia's all-time #1 money loser.
I say Andre. It's never a bad idea to see Andre Akari.
I think Shark Cage is a wicked underrated poker show. And I'm happy to watch Shark Cage clips, especially if they involve one of the world's nicest human beings, Andre Akari.
Yeah, I think we have made our decision. A raise from Kenneth Smarant to 65,000 has made its way around to the big blind of Jonathan Abdelatif. He's going to defend. 170k up for grabs. 3-5 jack, all hearts. All hearts. You gotta say, Ken Smurran really is wielding this big stack like a genius. Just keeps getting involved, keeps putting the pressure on. Ginger Jonathan ready to take him down.
I will take you down. I will take you down to Chinatown.
And now the board pairs, the 3 on the turn.
Getula72 says, we getting any new Shark Cage episodes? And I'm going to quote another person on Twitch, Frisheezy, who says, there's still poker shows?
It's an interesting time, boys and girls.
No new Shark Cage. Now, I am being a little pessimistic because we are filming a brand new cash game show from Monaco. Big game-ish. We're going to have an online qualifier, free rolled, no limit, post-flop, pot limit, pre-flop. Should be a good time.
Like that format a lot. I think that's going to be good fun. I'm very excited to see that. I'm ordinarily quite sarcastic and skeptical about such things, but I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to see. So we've got jacks and 3s on the board. We've also got 3 hearts. It's basically an Omaha hand when you think about it. As far as the sort of hands you could expect to bump into.
Big bet there from Abdelatif.
Yeah, 290,000 in the pot. And the bet flew out.
Bet was 234,000.
And just as I was bigging up Kenneth,
I go bluff. I mean, you're never bluffing that river anyway, so.
he knows this one.
losing value. I just let you.
G.
check it
Phillips on Twitch says the shark cage should be a real cage. Hey,
behind. Yes, yeah.
we're all in a
Would've been
cage
awesome.
if you think about it.
Wow.
The more you know.
Keith Bond points out Jonathan Abdul-Latif doing well from a short stack. He's now got himself up to 40 big blinds. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? Especially here in Panama. With 12 minutes left on the clock, after that break, blinds going up, average stack changing, and the guy with the 20 big blinds is going to find himself under considerable pressure. Jonathan is now, though, third from the bottom.
That was the original title to that song, by the way, Under Considerable Pressure, but it just...
Under considerable pressure?
Yeah, it just
yeah, it
didn't
doesn't
really,
scan so well, does
flow.
it? Yeah. Good. I was worried that Robin Wozniacek had got bored of this game. I'll be honest, I'm finding him to be one of the more interesting players. Just kind of got to keep an eye on him. He does things. And back round to Kenneth Smarran, who raised this up under the gun +1 to 65,000. The re-raise was to 151 from the cutoff. Being asked what's tomorrow's free roll password, ask me tomorrow.
That seems like too many characters.
Well, there's no spaces though, so.
That might fit.
King, Jack, 3, 2 diamonds on board.
There we go. That's a nice wet flop.
Yeah. I like Nick's suggestion that the shark cage should have been an MMA cage with Tito in there. And if you go in there, he just gets to pound on you for like 2 minutes. And if somebody goes into the tank making a decision at the table, their just face is just getting mashed by these enormous fridge-sized fists.
I'll tell you guys what about Tito. He wouldn't even have to put his hands on you for it to be like just having a conversation with him is scary. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah. You know where he touched my arm? This morning I woke up with 3 cracked ribs and a dislocated shoulder.
Did you see how reluctant I was to tell him his answers were wrong in the game?
Yeah. You waited like so long. Like, I'm not going to rush you. Just take as long as you need. Choke? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one. Next.
Turns out that is now the official name of Kickstarter. Choke.
76,000 from my boy, Robin Wozniacek. I still believe, and that is good. Kenneth is taking a little bit of a kicking here. He's been involved in a few hands that have not worked out so well for him. I'm sure that stack of nearly 3.3 million will give him some sort of relief. He can sit on that for a while, let's be honest. And a smooth glass. A little under 10 minutes left on this level, boys and girls. Looks like we... Actually, I'm not going to say that out loud. Not going to even think it.
Haha. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to get down to 6 before the end of this level.
Oh, John. Oh, why did you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, no, that's fine to say that. I was going to say the other side of the coin, and then I thought that's stupid. I'm just tempting fate. The fact you're playing fate at its own game.
Yep.
I think there's a really good chance that when I log into my lottery account, I won't have made $1 million while I've been in Panama. Sometimes I'll share this with the audience. I don't think it's wrong. Sometimes play the lottery at home. You know, everyone needs a dream. And when we're overseas, you get an email saying, we have news for you about your ticket, but I can't log in to check it because it senses I'm abroad and won't let me in. So it's like
God forbid you give your wife the password.
I'm not stupid.
She would be gone.
How would I have the chance to move out to a new country and start over if I tell her that I've won 16 million? So I have to wait, but it's like a Schrodinger's cat situation. Is technically, from a quantum physics point of view, until I get back to the UK to check it, I am a millionaire, and I'm also 25 quid up. It's only once I get home I find out I'm 25 quid up.
Little do you know that Matt is actually a millionaire already. He just does this for the benefits.
I do this because
he loves hotels,
and it reminds me how lucky I am to not work. This one has gone up, up, up from Jonathan Abdelatif. It was an under-the-gun raise, obv, from Kenneth, obv. Got round to the button. Jonathan made it 201.
And kind of a big re-raise for imposition.
Yeah, and now Harpreet Gill is considering whether he might have a strong enough hand to make some magic happen for himself. There's the added bonus in there that if he can get one of these players out, if he can find out that Ken Smurran was just mucking about under the gun, or that indeed Jonathan was just being wacky, extra dead money could be in here if that's the way it goes. All that said, I don't need to put a caveat in because he has indeed.
This has got to be really strong.
I think so. I think this is just legit big hand.
Not much more.
Not much more. Classic. Classic come double me up sunshine.
Continues repping strong.
The rest of the table entirely enjoying that. Probably inappropriately, but you know what? We're all friends here.
Wait, do we have dinner break after this?
There's the call.
There's the call. Is this going to be the end of the day for
Queen 9?
Ace Queen. It's about as bad as you could have hoped for.
First 3-bet, you shove it to me straight up. 100%. 100%. I mean,
Don't tell us why.
Smarin saying that if Gill hadn't shoved, Smarin would have.
Could I not do it again?
I'm not sure what's going on pot odds-wise there.
Could have just folded. You could have, yeah. You could have.
280,000.
All in. So sick, it's like you got Queen 9.
Abdelatif called. Abdelatif called.
I mean,
To win 800,000, to win 700,000. Yeah, to win 800. Seems risky with Queen 9. He's 3-1 and he was getting 4-1.
Jack 10.
Well,
That's going to be tough.
that is going to be tough. The man said it himself.
I'll take Put another ace. Take a jack. One more.
Let's not overdo it.
One more ace.
2% to split, 2% to win it, 2 cards to come.
Will we get a sweat on the turn?
This would take Gill to be third from bottom here.
No sweat.
Locks it up on the turn, and that's a sweet spot because it's more than a double up because of that additional dosh in the pot from Ken with his 65k raise, and of course blinds and antes. That is a cool 1 million now for Harpreet Gill. And now Jonathan Abdelatif, who's been solid and entertaining throughout, finds himself in the danger zone.
Danger zone.
Just under $500,000. For 3.5 more minutes, that's 20 big blinds. But when we return after the forthcoming break, pressure mounting on the short stack.
If you folded, I have 300k more. Yeah, I know.
And now the justification.
Because I'm folding. Well, if you didn't, I have a lot more then. That's true. That's true.
I know. I need it. Yeah, that's a sick flop, though.
Elgil Davina says Jonathan knows what he's doing. I got to say, Jonathan Abdelatif has been hugely impressive throughout. And let us not forget, this is the last 7 players from 366.
Never fucking lucky.
Not much more.
Abdelatif too aggressive, says Noob at Poker.
That was a really big re-raise with Queen 9, and it said to me that he didn't want any pre-flop calls, and then what happens is you end up giving yourself better odds to make the call of the shove, which you probably shouldn't have done in the first place.
And you know that the only people that are going to do that is someone with something really decent, unless they're like super tricky. So as you say, you're probably going to always in that spot run into a much better hand for a much better price.
Yeah.
OMG, says Twitch as a generalization.
Dinner break after this or no? No break after this?
He is very confident though, says Zofware. Yeah, I mean that's a positive. A raise from Timofeyev, 55k to play. Jimmy Smoky Salmon. Raise up to 130.
It's much more standard 3-bet coming from Salmon than the last one we saw.
For sure.
One pleasure.
324,000 in the middle right now. Let's see a flop. 9 of diamonds, Queen of hearts, 7 of diamonds. Fast check from the out of position, Denis Timofeyev.
G. Phillips saying Salmon can't imagine life without Gil. He can't breathe without him.
I mean, it's good. That's the thing, is it's good, you know, and I'm just looking at Joe thinking, I can't believe we've been on this table with both Salmon and Gil.
Oh, I did that.
Oh, you've done it.
Ago,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Okay.
But obviously not that exact joke. So
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just thinking that's just there for the taking.
Yeah.
You know, I would be fearing for my friend and colleague Joe Stapleton had he not jumped on that like a trampoline.
It was unlike me to not make that joke every 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I've been here for nearly an hour and a half, and
Right.
you've not mentioned it once.
I think I did it in level 1 today. And
well, there you
let
are.
it go.
That's fine. That's a great shot. Love that. Take the blue pill.
Love Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
3 of spades on the end. 324,000 in the middle. And don't forget, everyone, enjoy a can of whole chicken in the break coming up. 20 minutes to try and eat a whole can.
Bro, see, I always
Everyone
get
going to
good.
break.
You
Salmon
can only
settling
make me
in.
unlucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I get unlucky, you know?
It's like he kicked his shoes off with this hand.
It's fucking over.
225 is the price.
It looked like he was breathing super hard for a second. Maybe that was just the expending of energy moving his chair over and settling in, because he doesn't look like he's freaking out right now. He's one cool dude. I'm not really sure he would have gotten so comfortable if he was thinking about folding. I wonder if this is like a deliberate tank right now. Let's recap the action. He did 3-bet before the flop, did not continue flop, didn't bet turn. Yeah, it's not a very strong line he had.
No.
So I don't love him for a monster here.
But, of course, that does look so passive that then when Timofeyev makes this bet, you go, if you've got something, as Timofeyev totally underestimated.
Yeah, this is a thick, juicy river bet, 225 into 324. So I would be pretty tempted to call here with a hand like jacks or tens. with only one overcard out there. For a guy who did not pick up the betting lead on the turn to all of a sudden come out firing and firing big on the river, it's a little suspect.
This is why I could never be a pro player, because my skin is not gonna hold up to that kind of extreme close-up. I'm just
That's the only reason.
I'm just gonna look dreadful. If it wasn't for that, I'd be doing this day in, day out. Not folded just yet, but he's groaning in an uncomfortable way. And look at that. He looks like he's going to pitch those like an extreme frisbee player.
That looks like he's going to toss in a chip and call.
Yeah. The old switcheroo totally drew me in.
Angel Devil. Call, fold, call, fold.
You bluff me.
Ask him if you fold, will he show you? I saw that on TV in 1999. Very popular.
Oh!
Thank you, ding! No, he's not giving you anything.
This would be me. If he goes all in or raises, I call. I'm going on break.
Yeah. Can I just, if then, let me just write you a basic program. 10 if.
You just click that call any bet button and
yeah.
AFK.
I'll be at the buffet.
Yeah.
I'll be by the Frankfurters. If he bends those chips, I'm going to be really annoyed, because we'll have to throw them away and start from scratch. Angry poker. That's what we're watching. Angry poker.
I'd say he's more troubled than angry.
Yeah. Frustrated. Perturbed.
4 minutes in the tank.
And this is very un-James Salmon-like. He's not Byron Coverman. You know, this is out of character for him. And he has to let it go. He's desperate to know what's going on. Gonna find out zilch after 4.5 minutes in the tank on the river.
Gotta be.
In the tank on the river, salmon. I mean, it's just, it's just right in itself. Talking of tanks, it looks like there's going to be some shark cage action coming up for you in the penultimate break, he guessed. So this is how things are looking after that fold. Kenneth Smurran still top of the table with over 3 million. That one takes James Salmon down to 1.4 million. We're going off into a break. Join us in 16 minutes as we continue our coverage here from the PokerStars Championship Panama main event. Back in 15.
We're going to be in the tank with Karen. We'll only see her cards. Ace-7 of diamonds.
Call. Too much. Call.
She limps in the small blind.
All right.
I check.
And Andre checks his option in the big blind.
We're giving Andre a free flop, huh?
Karen pairs her 7. Plus there's 1 diamond out there. She bets.
It's a dry board, so if and when Andre calls, He's going to have a king a lot.
He does call. The turn card is a queen.
Fine with us checking here. Good.
What does Andre do? He checks behind. Power up the cage. We're going to the river. 10 of spades. So various straight and flush draw combos get there on the end.
I'm all for just giving it up here and not getting sent to the cage by trying to bluff again.
She checks.
Of course, now we're probably going to face a bet from Andre, and we could still get sent to the cage.
Yeah, we don't know if this is a value bet or a bluff.
Karen's got to ask herself, how did I get here?
I presume she flew.
But seriously, she's got to ask herself which is more embarrassing, going to the cage again or just losing a hand. Honestly, I think she's losing, but I don't want to be responsible for her going back to the cage. She's already steaming.
And she's running out of time. Karen's played a time bank chip.
Oh, look, guys, there's something going on.
I still don't know about this one.
Yeah, pay attention.
As someone who doesn't actually have to go into the cage if I'm wrong, I think Andre's almost always got us here. As someone who's afraid that Karen's steam rage may cause her to destroy the cage with a devastating Norwegian kick punch, I think she should just pay it off.
I just don't want to go in the cage.
She calls. Andre shows value.
Told ya.
He paired his queen on the turn.
I don't want to say that Karen's steaming, but I'm pretty sure you could cook clams in her ears.
Andre not that far behind Ronnie now in the chip stakes. And the blinds are going up to 12,000, 24,000 with an 8,000 ante. Action's on our qualifier. 6-4 offsuit. Karen folds. Decent ace for Andre. He raises. Fatima with the same hand, only it's suited. So she re-raises. Leo folds Jack 10. Running the big blind. Also passes.
How many chips do you have left?
I had like 770, I think.
I don't think either of these players will fold, so most of the time I think this is going to be a pretty long build-up to a chop pot.
Everyone loves a chop pot. 10 seconds. And Andre requests more time.
Gotta be thinking about putting in another bet.
All you can eat. And he's got Fatima covered.
Fatima knows Andre's not going to be doing this super light, so she's trying to figure out how often he's going to be ahead. But I don't see her folding.
Time is ticking away. And Fatima folds!
Wow. No, you did not just fold.
I think I made a good fold.
You didn't.
No, I was like, I had a close. Yes. Yeah.
Andre coming on strong like a cheap cologne.
With that hand, he takes the chip lead.
Andre Akari.
I know Andre Akari very well.
Yeah, he's a tough opponent.
He's like the Negreanu of Brazil. He's just a legend.
He's a good player, unfortunately.
Andre is slowly getting stronger and stronger.
I'm the chip leader right now. I have a lot of chips, but you have to play in the right way. My job is think what they are thinking.
He's an extroverted person.
When you talk to somebody, you can get much more information.
Trustworthy.
Poker is about bluff, you know?
I love the guy. He's a kind, sweethearted guy.
And then I take advantage of these guys. It's horrible, but that's what it is, and that's poker. I raise.
Re-raise coming from Andre.
Yeah, you do, Andre. Yeah, you do.
He's got Queen 10 suited, so he's got Ronnie dominated. Fatima folds. As does Leo. Action back on Ronnie.
This call would be a little loose.
He does call.
Here we go. Juicy, juicy.
Lucy, Lucy.
So both players with a pair of 10s, and this time it's Ronnie who's got kicker problems.
Ronnie, you kicker. It's no good, boss.
Andre bets. And Ronnie does not fold his pair.
No way, guy.
Turn card is a king. Both players now with straight draws to go with their pairs.
Andre could bet again, but maybe figures Ronnie's never folding at this point. Lots of hands just improved or picked up equity.
Goes check, check. Could be cage time as we go to the river. It's a 6. So the board is bricked out for Mr. Barda.
When Andre checks back the turn, he's usually going to have showdown value, and there's a lot of showdown value that's got Ronnie beat. So Ronnie might think he's got a bluff at this, which means... Yes!
He's playing the bluff card. And he bets pretty big.
Yeah, Ronnie's made this a pretty difficult decision for Andre to call. But I just don't know if I'm ever folding to any river bet at all in this show. The whole shark cage concept is a real jerk move.
So just to be clear, Andre has the best hand. If he folds, he's going in the cage. But if he calls, we are reuniting Ronnie with his favorite place on earth. Andre folds!
Uh-oh.
Ronnie shows the bluff card.
I think I might be bluffing.
And yes, he got the best hand to fold.
Yeah.
And that means Andre Akari is going behind bars.
We need somebody there, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
2 dimes. Don't forget my 2 dimes. 2K.
Ronnie gets a bluff bonus.
Andre, I'll wait for you.
Take the money. I'm going shopping with you, baby. Yeah. We can buy her dinner now. See, you can come with us. And Andre's
Going
invited too.
shopping with you. I feel so excluded from this.
You could join even if you didn't
I feel
win
like the third wheel, to say the least.
Well, you have to come for protection from her, because if I'm alone with her, I'm gonna, you know.
What?
I should bet the turn. It's my fault that I'm here.
Story gets sadder and sadder.
In the cage! How do you feel, buddy? He's taking selfies in the cage.
The PokerStars.net shark cage finally has another captive. And this time, it's a shark. Having floundered at that Barda bluff, Andre Akari is facing a frustrating future behind bars. And the others couldn't be happier.
It's good to have the chick bleeder out of the way.
It really felt good to put that Brazilian right in the cage and gain $2,000, which was nice. 2 dimes. Don't forget my 2 dimes. 2K.
When he turned over the bluff card, so it's terrible, the fan. I'm gonna have to watch the action from that cage, you know? It's horrible.
Must have been very satisfying to Ronnie, you know, to send someone to the cage, someone else than himself.
In the cage! How do you feel, buddy? It's redemption time, and I'm back for it. Is he back?
Yeah.
Release the Akarakan. Akarakan.
Almost.
And this is our new contender for This Is Love. Love at first sight. Oh, no, not.
Now I'm angry.
I think you did well there.
How'd you feel in that cage?
I feel good.
Felt good, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. You're not on tilt anymore. It makes you relax, you know.
No way.
That's the good thing about the cage. You're like, what? But you have to get to cool down for like a round.
You can think in your life, you know, like the mistakes that you're doing.
You do, yeah. Think your life over.
Andre first to act here. Ace-8.
Man, if Andre starts bossing it any harder, he's going to have to grow a Ron Swanson mustache.
He raises. Pocket 4s for Fatima. And she is all in.
Let's go. Let's wake up here. It's a
No,
spot to wake up.
you have to go to the cage right now.
I'm just look. Let me see if I got it. Wow,
You wanna look more aggressive?
No, I don't. I want to look sweet and very nice and...
Ronnie's passed.
Well, knowing what the cards are, I think Andre should call. Sometimes he would be dominated, though.
I wonder what you have.
600 and then?
605 total.
Okay, call.
He calls and we're off to the races. Fatima at risk.
Like Lil Sebastian versus JJ's Waffles.
What? That's so close.
We could bring in guest dealer Perd Hapley.
No, I can't use up my time bank. I will need them.
Confidence.
I don't want pity, guys.
It's a deal.
2 aces in your face.
Ace 7. Ace of clubs, ace of
No.
diamonds, 7 of diamonds.
No pity. No pity. Yeah. I am the only player with a diamond.
True.
Just the funniest one would be an 8 now, where it's like, yes. Oh, it's a 6.
Fatima with 2 outs.
That was that.
She needs a 4 on the river. It's a queen.
A diamond.
And Fatima exits in 4th place.
Swords, go swords. Ah, no problem. Sword. See you in the room, honey. No. You can kick their asses.
Hey, good game, honey.
Have fun.
Thanks, honey.
So Fatima falls to Andre, who increases his chip lead. Leo folding an ace.
Huh.
All in.
Ronnie shoving with Jack 7.
I call.
And Andre calls with ace 4.
Well, we know there's an ace and a 4 missing. Doesn't help Ronnie much, though.
He's at risk and behind.
1 million from the small kid.
He's not that small.
He meant the small blind, you dingus.
Good luck, kid.
Well, things just got real.
Well, the flop gives them both a pair.
We got a sweat at least. We didn't flop dead.
But Andre's a 4-1 favorite.
7 or a jizzle banger one time.
We're not gonna bleep that?
Jizzle banger.
Guess not.
What's a jizzle banger?
Still.
God.
Ronnie needs a jack or a 7.
If this is the river, do it.
5 outs.
God, it's...
Yeah, you should have run it twice so you can do it again.
Yeah, run it twice. No, run it once because a 7 ball's hitting the river. And I'm going to go over and jump on people if it happens. If it doesn't, I'm going to jump off the roof.
The river is a 10.
I'm gonna bolt the door to the roof. You take his shoelaces and belt.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sorry for choking you there.
It was a pleasure.
Good luck, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Ronnie's out, leaving Andre to fight it out with Leo for the seat in the final.
We can fold.
She's all in with 8 tray.
So how much is it?
I think Andre might be ahead.
Okay, call.
He is ahead with 4s. And this could be it.
Not now, Fatima.
Had like 4 blinds.
And 1 overcard.
Think positive. Win this and you'll have 8 big blinds.
From there.
Andre flops a set again.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, 5, 6.
Leo likely to be drawing dead on the turn.
Just a 5 or a 6 to keep hope alive.
It's a king, which means it's over, and Andre is going through to the final.
Thank you very much.
Big applause, big round of applause.
Yeah, congrats.
So, which one of you two is sleeping naked on the balcony?
Andre, obviously.
This is great so far.
The table today was incredible. Was incredible. The mix of happiness and adrenaline, and it's incredible. For me, was really amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I won the bracelet at the World Series, and I'm feeling kind of the same. I have the same feeling, so it's amazing.
So Andre takes the 4th seat at the final table, alongside Jennifer Shahadi, Maria Ho, and Daniel Negreanu.
Andrew Chen is the favorite to double up.
And he needs that double up. Katai's got him on the ropes right now. The flop. It's king high. Katai takes the lead.
Gonna be tough to recover from that king.
Andrew Chen now at risk. An 86% chance that we have our champion here in Berlin. Davide Katai set to become the first ever Belgian EPT winner and the 5th ever Triple Crown winner. Andrew Chen needs an ace. He's got 3 outs. It's another king. It's over.
All right, everybody, let's give it up for Davide Katai, Triple Crown winner and EPT 8 Berlin champion.
You beat the clock by PokerStars.net. All the excitement of poker condensed into just 5 minutes. Survive those 5 minutes, you win, guaranteed. Beat the clock by PokerStars.net.
Welcome back to Panama and the PokerStars Championship main event here at the Sortis Hotel Spartan Casino in Panama City. It's day 5 of this tournament. It means it's the penultimate day. We are down to 7 players. One more elimination and we will stop, reset, and come back for the final day, day 6, with cards up coverage as we play down to a champion here on PokerStars.tv. It's James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. We are on a couple of bubbles right now. Final day bubble, and we are on a prize jump bubble as well.
Absolutely. Whoever goes out next is going to receive $48,520. 6th place is guaranteed $65K. We can see right now there is only one player almost in the danger zone.
Danger zone?
I guess we'd say that 16 bigs is on the cusp. Once you drop below the 15 big blind mark, Jonathan Abdul Talif is at risk right now. The big stack is Kenneth Smaran. He has got 3.2 million, more than 100 big blinds. We are now kicking off level 24. We are playing 15,000, 30,000 blinds with a 5,000 ante, and we already have Abdulatif all in here.
All right.
Timofeyev open to 65,000. Abdulatif is shoved for 480,000. Everyone has folded. The Belgian shove gets through.
Played a questionably big pot near the end of the last level. Doubled up Harpreet Gill in the process.
It'll be interesting to see, Joe, whether we can get through another level today. If we do lose a player in 7th place and come back still in level 24, they will have a 61 big blind average at the 6-handed final table, which is pretty deep, which could mean quite a long day tomorrow. These 7 players have bested a field of 366. And 6 of them will come back tomorrow and compete for the trophy to become our first ever champion here in Panama and win the first prize of nearly $300,000. Button raise here from the chip leader, which gets folds from the blinds. A reminder that if you want to get in touch with the booth, questions and comments should be fired using the hashtag PokerStarsTV on Twitter. Alternatively, if you're watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/PokerStars, there's the live chat there. Do you remember a while back when we floated the idea of actually reading out some of the comments on YouTube, and then Matt, as an experiment, spent 45 minutes monitoring the comments on YouTube, and we decided, nah.
No. I mean, it's pretty tough to make Twitch look intellectual by comparison, but good job, Twitch.
Good to see the Panama light chips in play. The reds have been colored
Nice.
up, so now we have the blue 5Ks, the yellow 25Ks, and the white 100K chips.
I got a 6er of Panama Light in my fridge in my room if anybody wants to help me kill that before the end of the week. Looks like I overestimated the amount of guests I was going to have in my room. Once again.
Smarin opens to 75,000. Wozniak, 3 bets from the small blind, re-raising to 150K. With Timofeyev folding the big, it's back on Smarin.
I wonder psychologically what it does to you to have a monster stack and get colored up during the break and have physically fewer chips in front of you, a less intimidating looking number of chips. I'm sure for the most experienced of players it does nothing, but certainly for someone like me it's going to have an effect. I don't know how much.
Have you ever made it to the point in a tournament where they color up chips?
In a home game.
Ace, deuce, deuce on the flop. The lead from Wozniak, the continuation bet of 100,000, gets a fold from his opponent. On to the next hand. So yes, a reminder, there's one more day of coverage, one more day of this tournament. 6-handed action tomorrow on PokerStars TV from 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we will be on delay tomorrow. Roughly a 1-hour security delay, as we will be cards up. And we will continue playing tomorrow until we are down to 1, down to a champion.
Don't you mean Eastern Daylight Time?
No, we're actually going to be on air at 2 o'clock. Eastern Daylight Time.
Aha!
An interesting conversation via Twitter with Chris Moneymaker on that one earlier on.
At least he didn't say you were wrong. He just said you were a nitpicker.
Well, you'd say nitpicking, but how else am I supposed to separate that we are effectively an hour behind most of North America? The only way to do that is to specify that we're standard time rather than daylight time.
Couldn't you also just call it Central Time?
But that's not the time zone we're in.
Right. Since we are in Eastern Standard Time, that is the time zone we're in.
Diot was the pre-flop aggressor here. Abdelatif defended his big blind. He checks this ace-high flop, and we get a continuation bet of 65,000 from the Canadian. Decent international mix. The final table here in Panama. A couple of Canadians, a couple of Americans, a Belgian, a German, and a Russian.
Nice representation.
Check raise from Abdelatif. Just shy of 200,000, 190K. Actually 180,000. Megan, I'll answer your question at the conclusion of this hand.
Diot, even though he does not have a ton of chips, does have Abdelatif covered.
Yeah, these are the two shortest stacks at the table. Diot with 20 bigs behind. Abdelatif following this check raise with just 12 bigs back.
He might be in a pretty bad spot now. He could have easily defended with just any old ace and... Excuse me, he was the raiser.
Yes.
Take what I said, reverse it. Delatif is very likely to have defended with lots of aces. Could easily have 2 pair here. Could easily have a draw.
2 pair would certainly explain the check raise. What about a hand like King 10, Queen 9 of clubs, something of that range?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just, you know, anything that has a draw here, 4-5. All of the clubs. Five, 6 of clubs.
And it was a late position raise from Diot, so he doesn't have to be that strong here.
He's been quiet, though. I do think that he's going to be pretty strong here most of the time. You know, he's got a tough decision with kings.
He's been thinking about whether, or rather how to respond to this check raise for nearly 2.5 minutes now.
Really scary spot, I think, for Diot. There are plenty of value hands Abdelatif could have. 6s, deuces, 2 pair.
Eyebrow cam. Diot folds, and Abdelatif chips up there to a 25 big blind stack, meaning Diot is now the low man at the table with 20 bigs. I did say I would answer a question from Megan Joy on Twitter. Megan asked about the color up. Are the players present during the color up, or is it handled by staff? And if so, do the players count them when they return from break? Players are welcome to remain at the table and watch the color up. Some do, some don't. But yes, it is handled by staff and overseen by the tournament floor. Yes, players generally look at their stacks when they come back, and yes, occasionally questions are asked.
I met a cool dude this week named Richard, who is an online player, plays down in Mexico, although he's American. And he says that Anthony Diot is his roommate.
Huh.
And he would like him to know, hit him with the hind.
Action has been folded here to Diot. He's in the hijack.
I like his fold there on the last hand, not knowing what he had. You know, if he just even has an ace and he's up against a draw, a strong draw or pair and a draw, his equity is going to be marginal.
Well, he's raised here to 70,000. Wozniacek has folded. Action on Timofeyev, who's on the button with a stack of 1.38 million. The Russian third in chips at this final table, but below average. Should point out only 2 players out of the 7 have above average stacks. Smarin with 3 million, Wozniacek with 2.6 million. The average currently being 1.57 million.
Connection on Twitch asks how many players are currently playing. We are down to the final 7.
Yeah, of course, there are numerous side events being played here in Panama. That's why you see players at other tables. They are not competing in the main event. There is the re-raise from Timofeyev. The blinds fold, action back on Diot. Wow, this guy just keeps getting re-raised.
I think that this is going to be pretty strong most of the time from Timofeyev. He can just call in position if he wants to with a lot of hands. Diot's in a position where he's not going to raise fold too many times. He's got to expect that he's going to be raised jamming a lot.
Equally, to see it from the other perspective, this is a great leveraging bet considering Diot's stack.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be like that often, but obviously there's two sides to everything in poker, at least. I get your point. I think especially having seen that Diot just made what looked like a pretty big laydown, I would think he'd be less likely to make another big laydown. Hello, hello. Someone on Twitch did say this guy is a little bit of, we'll call him James Splat. Chris Splat, sorry. I really messed that up. He looks like Chris Pratt, is what I'm trying to say.
Timofeyev?
No.
Diot?
Yeah. You a little Chris Pratt there? A little poor man's Pratt.
No.
Okay, then.
I tried, honestly.
Sure, that's fine.
Oh, dear.
Told him not to leave that there.
So again, we find Diot in the tank for over 2 minutes.
Pretty tough spot for him. You don't really flat very often here out of position, leaving yourself a pot-sized bet behind. And if you've got a hand like ace-queen, you're like, am I dominated? Am I up against a gigantic pair? I think anything better than ace-queen, you probably get it in. I mean, not anything. Low pairs, you may be reluctant also.
Yeah. Someone's called the clock. I think it was James Salmon.
Well, salmon do have a short lifespan. It's understandable.
Well, the floor will come to the table and put Diot on a 60-second countdown.
I don't know who's coming.
Luca Vivaldi, who is overseeing the main event here in Panama. One of the senior floor staff, counting down Diot. He will be given a 10-second warning. You can count it down from 10 to 1. If by the time the countdown is complete he has not acted, his hand will be declared dead. There's the 30-second warning. And there's the fold.
Two big leg downs in a row for Anthony Diot, down to 18 big blinds. Someone on Twitch asked if we were going to do a guess how much something costs, and we'll do it tomorrow because I'm afraid if I get into some competition now, we could lose the player. It'll wreck everything.
Wow, great minds think alike, because Ryan Reed on Twitter asked the same question.
That was Ryan, sorry. That's who I was talking about.
Oh. Chip leader Kenneth Smaron, first to act here. His raise is greeted with folds from half the table. Action round to Abdelatif on the button. Second shortest stack of the final 7, playing 25 big blinds.
That's right, I'm right-hearted. The same mind thinks the same.
Three bet. 190,000. Round two. James Salmon.
Seems like these guys are ready to be done for the day. We didn't see a ton of aggression for most of the day today. Granted, most of it's come pre-flop, but
It's a weird one, though, isn't it? Because we can talk so much about dynamic and we can talk so much about bet to stack ratio. Sometimes they just have it. Sometimes it's a case that the cards fall in such a way there are monsters at the table. And here we see a 4-bet shove from Salmon, all in for 1.36 million. So, did you see the way he slammed those chips down on the table as well?
Slamming Salmon.
And snap called by Abdulatif, who has aces.
Aces versus clangers.
Not me.
Sick cooler, Clara.
So obviously, 4 times out of 5, Abdulatif is going to double up through Salmon. But there is that 1 time in 5 when kings get lucky. And if that happens, we lose Abdulatif. He is the player at risk here.
Is that what they mean by 1 time?
I king and we go into tomorrow. Aces is all in.
Va? Ja, ik ben de short stack buiten hem, dus ja.
It's as good as it gets for aces versus kings. No flush draw even for Salmon.
Here comes the flop, which is ace high.
That's going to be ball game.
Less than 1% equity now for Salmon. Running kings needed. And of course, if anyone folded a king, he would be drawing dead. Now he's drawing dead. So Abdulatif doubles up. And just like that, within the space of 3 hands, he's gone from being the short stack at the table with 16 big blinds to 4th in chips with a 50 big blind stack. Near average chips now for the Belgian. 3rd in chips, my bad. 1.67 million.
Yas Queen.
Meanwhile, Salmon drops down to a sub 20 big blind stack. Diot still the low man at the table.
He may not make it to those eggs, James.
Have your agent call my agent and let's set up a meeting.
And so we play on. Still 7-handed.
One on the flop.
Back to it, huh? Yeah. More fun this way. Making this thing hard today, huh?
Never easy.
Seems easy for other people. It's just never easy for you.
Diot folds under the gun. Vosnijek. 2nd in chips, passes. Timofeyev is out. Abdulatif not going to play this one. And James Salmon has folded the button. We have a blind-on-blind situation here. Harpreet Gill in the small. Has around 30 bigs. He will complete. And then a raise from the chip leader. 100,000 total. Called by Gill. We're going to have a flop.
Flop me, dealer. Please.
King 9-5. That's the flop that Salmon wanted last hand. Interesting. Gill not playing in flow, leading. Betting 140,000 into 235,000.
Flow is very important when it comes to gills. Gets a call.
Deuce of hearts on the turn. Gil does not fire again, and any bet from Smarin here, any meaningful bet, is going to put Gil in a tough spot. If you bet, say, 200,000 here, tough for Gil to call without getting pot stuck.
I feel like that flop lead is so often like a 9 or a 5, and you're just hoping to get a fold.
255,000 was the bet from Smarin. Gets a fold from Gil. And we play on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you called.
Never know.
Yes, Radovan, James was right in the middle of saying sometimes they just have it while aces versus kings was developing.
And I think at this stage, when you do see those huge pots with 3 bets and 4 bets firing off, it's more likely to be dictated by the cards. I think everyone's at a point now where they don't want to be the guy who doesn't get to come back tomorrow. Every single elimination now, there is a money jump. Although in the last level, we did see that curiously played Queen-9 hand from Abdelatif, who's now well back in this game, by the way.
Hey, it was great advertising on his part to get paid off with aces against kings. I mean, that guy could have folded kings.
Hashtag metagame. Abdelatif has raised from the hijack, 65,000. It's Smarin's small blind, and the chip leader is going to re-raise. 2 white chips thrown in. He 3 bets to 210,000.
Oh, Abdelatif. Touching the yellows.
He calls in position, and these players go heads up to the flop in a 3-bet pot.
What's your favorite position? That's cool with me. It's not my favorite, but I'll do it for you.
9-8 deuce. Continuation bet from Smarin.
Got some whiteys in there.
235K.
Wow, and we are going to go over 1 million chips into this pot.
With 2 betting streets still to come.
Dang near close to 1 million.
Yeah, 955K. Turn card, 6 of clubs. 2 flush draws out there, a straighty board.
This is so strong.
440,000.
3 bets pre-flop. Yeah, I really like him for an overpair there. Maybe even a set of 9s. Although maybe don't re-raise 9s pre-flop. But
well, Smarin adds $500,000 to his stack, up to 3.77 million. Moves over the 125 big blind mark. Second biggest stack is Robin Wozniak, who's got 86 big blinds. 2 players with fewer than 20 big blinds each, those players being James Salmon and Anthony Diot. In this hand, we'll see Denis Timofeyev, who started today as chip leader, under the gun, first to act. Raises to 60,000. We got our first good look at Timofeyev on day 3, on Bubble Day, when he was sat on Tito Ortiz's table. He was actually to the direct left of Ortiz, and he and Tito played a lot of hands together.
Yeah.
And Tito got the better of him most of the time.
For a while. Until Timofeyev adjusted.
Yes.
And then it was very clear that he figured out the best approach for taking on a cage fighter. I can't believe you just texted someone and said, "You up?"
Three bet from Smarin.
Yeah, these guys are ready. They are ready to get down to 6.
Chip leader has re-raised to 165,000. The guy who's second in chips, Wozniak, has a decision in the big blind. Robin and Dennis sat next to each other at this table are the last 2 qualifiers remaining in the tournament. And here is a cold 4-bet from Wozniak. 325,000.
4-bet alert.
So action back on the original raiser. Now, Timofeyev opened under the gun, but we are now 7-handed, so you can't really... So there is the fold from Timofeyev. So now back on Smarin, who 3-bet from the button.
Smarin trying to get a read. Good luck getting a read off that guy. James, Wozniak, to me, has been fairly snug, fairly standard, which puts him, gives him a good rep for making a move with a cold 4-bet. I just think that he's still not going to be doing it that often, though. Smarin is in position. 160,000 to win 600,000. Wozniak is deep enough that he can play a pot with him if he wants to. He doesn't have to get it all in pre-flop.
Well, there's the fold from Smarin.
Same determination that I did. That's going to be the genuine article a fair percentage of the time.
So we're just over 30 minutes into this level. Smarin has consolidated his chip lead during those 30 minutes, 3.6 million. Salmon has doubled up Abdelatif, and Diot is edging into the danger zone.
Danger zone.
Wozniak sitting comfortably second in chips right now with 95 big blinds. Raise to 60,000 from Kenneth Smarin. Timofeyev's big blind. And he defends. Ten, 9.
Timofeyev checks. Smarin checks.
Turn card is the 3 of clubs. Timofeyev checks a second time. Here comes the delayed C-bet from Smarin. 65,000. Timofeyev calls, taking this hand to the river. Queen of spades. Check to showdown.
Ooh, straightenized.
Timofeyev adds 170K to his stack. Timofeyev is currently 3rd in chips. He has just over the tournament average. Diop, the low man at the table.
On second thought.
Second hand in a row, opened by Kenneth Smarin, this time from the hijack. Raised to 65,000. Timofeyev in the small blind.
Rebet coming.
Raises to 210,000. Abdelatif has folded the big blind. And these two going to go to a flop again. Smarin wants to see what Timofeyev's playing. 1.4 million behind. Smarin's going to call the 3-bet, play the flop in position. The flop is 9-8 deuce.
I don't really think Timofeyev has to have a hand to 3-bet out of the small blind. I think Smarin's going to be opening fairly wide. From just about any position, as long as it's not under the gun. Even still, we're 7-handed. He's got all the chips.
A continuation bet of 225,000. Smarin calls. So this hand is going to the turn. That turn card is the 4 of hearts.
Can't imagine that's going to affect too much. saying that's a great way to make sure it absolutely affects everything.
Absolutely.
Ace 5 of clubs gets there with a 3 of spades on the river. Also makes a set of 4s for the other guy. Wonder what's going on in the Sunday Storm. I rage quit the client once I busted from the free roll. Is yours open?
I can open it up. I'll take a look.
Okay.
So you saw the final number of entrants, right?
130,000?
Correct. It's 125 grand up top, which is a phenomenal prize in an $11 buy-in tournament.
It's just going to take you several days to win it.
Timofeyev does not fire another barrel on the turn, checks the action to the chip leader. Smarin checks behind. We get the jack of clubs on the river. So a few draws come in.
Yeah. Draws of all shapes and sizes. It just means this hand taking forever.
Yeah.
Ed Kilworth is on top of it. He said there's 1,128 left in the Sunday Storm.
Wow.
Thank you, Ed. Super mod. Super mod, super mod. Okay, all right, your first act. Let's, I guess we could just recap the action. This was 3-bet, remember? Timofeyev out of position, 3-bet out of the small blind to the late-ish position open from Smarin. He continued flop for just under half the pot.
And then after checking the turn, decides to fire river for 375,000.
That's a little under half pot also. Now I said that Timofeyev didn't necessarily need to have a hand to 3-bet before the flop. And it does feel like he could have easily backed himself into something here. Now, even though I said he doesn't need to have a hand, I don't think he's going to be doing it with hands that have no equity. I don't think he's going to be doing it with hands like Jack 4 and Jack 6, but he could very easily be doing it with hands that have connected with this board. 8, 9, 9, 10, Jack 10, 10, 8. Queen 10. Clubs.
Did he just say you're all in?
He sure did.
Smarin shoves on Timofeyev. All into call.
So it's not a snap call. He did not back himself into anything huge. So we're back to weighting our hand. Our hand ranges to stuff like 10 9s and 9 8s. this point, once Smarin goes all in, I think he's going to have a lot of clubs. Does he make this move if he catches a jack on the end? Seems pretty thin to jam a jack. I think pocket jacks are a possibility sometimes, but still I'm going to be a little afraid of a flush, I think. So I think to make this move most of the time, you got to have a flush yourself.
Now, if Timofeyev folds here, he'll leave himself 26 big blinds.
I do think bluffs are quite possible.
Of course, if he calls and is wrong, he is out of the tournament. There is that third possibility, though. He calls and he's right and becomes a monster stack. I mean, obviously, this is a decision for his tournament life. We can understand him thinking about it. But how much time has this hand in total taken off the clock?
It's a long hand, and the more I see him pained over this, maybe he really did have a big hand before the flop. You know, maybe he did have queens. He's in a really rough spot with two queens here. Smarin's repping the flush regardless of whatever he's got. Tin Mullet on Twitch says, what a crazy decision.
Life 3 minutes in the tank now.
Life of Slice says he is crying. Design DFS says he's going to fold.
Well, that's the truth, isn't it? The longer he takes, the more likely he is to fold.
Have we seen Smarin run any big bluffs?
Not that I can necessarily remember. I've been told that this hand has taken 10 minutes. And it's still ongoing. Four minutes in the tank now for Denis Timofeyev. What hands is he checking turn, betting river with? He calls all in. And he gets to see whether he's good or not. Smarin tables 10-8.
Smarin who had the 10-8. Timofeyev has to have the winner there.
Jack 7.
Backed his way into the jack.
Wow.
Value bet it super thin. Got raised by by a hand that was getting turned into a bluff. It makes a really sick call in the end and is somehow right.
What an incredible call from Timofeyev, who takes the chip lead once again. Up to 3.3 million, 110 big blinds, while Smarin drops down to third on the leaderboard, now playing 61 big blinds.
I'm pretty okay with our analysis on that one. Smarin was opening pretty light. Timofeyev was 3-betting pretty light. Did back himself into an eventual value hand. And Smarin, as I said, repping a flush, but is going to have a bunch of bluffs there. Did have one in that case.
What a call from Denis Timofeyev, which sees him reclaim the chip lead in the PokerStars Championship Panama main event. I mean, there was a straight out there was a flush out there, and it's basically pair against pair for a huge pot.
Totally, and I walked back my analysis a little bit when Timofeyev was in the tank that long. I thought he had a much stronger hand that he was considering calling with, but I mean, Queens isn't much stronger in that case, but I agree with Jeff Godley here on Twitter, who says that he probably doesn't check Queens on the turn.
Yes.
So, agreed there. I was just sort of second-guessing myself when he spent so long in the tank. I expected it to be a tougher fold than Jack-7.
So River's top pair, value bets River, then gets shoved on and just manages to work out that there's a very good chance that Smarin has turned a marginal hand into a bluff or has total air, calls with the jack and is right.
I mean, that's a ridiculous call.
All ends because they think they're behind. Not for sure. I mean, it's a super tough spot for him.
Well,
Everything got there except 6
that was a 12-minute hand, but Jeff concludes that that hand was worth 12 minutes of his time. Bart says, I was sure Timofeyev was beat there. Still 40 minutes left on the clock at the 15:30 blind level. As we continue to play down to 6 at this final table, action will then be paused after that hiatus. We'll resume with 6 players tomorrow. Cards Up coverage here on PokerStars.tv, and we have another all-in. Timofeyev opens from the button, and the shove has come from James Salmon in the big blind. And he has been called. James Salmon at risk.
Oh boy.
Called by the chip leader. Salmon gets it in with ace-deuce. Ace-10 for Timofeyev. It is domination nation.
This may be my last chance to say this. He's going to be swimming upstream on this hand.
If ace-10 holds and James Salmon is eliminated, day 5 is over. We will have our final 6 who will return to play for the title, the trophy, and the first prize of nearly $300,000 tomorrow. 5 cards to come, though. Funky stuff can happen.
It's been a pleasure, Jimmy Salmon. Be sad to see him go.
It's a 10 high flop.
So are we going to need a running wheel, running deuces?
Either way, James is going to need to see something on the turn. He could be drawing dead. The turn card.
There it is. There it is.
Here's a 3, a little bit of hope.
Never easy. Had to put some distance between himself and the table. Materialize that 3 ball.
So he picks up 4 outs. A 5 on the river saves him. Any other card, he is eliminated in 7th place. The river card is a 4, and Salmon is poached.
Nice. Smoked.
James Salmon, one-time chip leader, departs in 7th place, cashing for $48,520.
Very good for you.
We have our final 6. Pause the clock. We are going to reset for day 6.
He may be a lock,
Any jack I have smashes that.
but he is not going home with a bagel.
That's the best call I've ever seen.
$46,000 in the bank.
You're invested a lot.
Literally, I mean, he
About $1
beats
million.
complete error 6-7.
I mean, that's a great play, though.
Yeah, obviously, bro.
I like
obviously,
it.
I made it for a reason. I knew I was trying to betting him off a jack. I thought he was value betting a jack.
No,
all his nuts rolls, his combo draws, he's still barreling in turn. He has nothing but a jack. He's got to make a sick call. He has to make the call of his life.
Totally reasonable.
He did it. Plain and simple. Not hating it.
I don't hate it at all.
I've never met someone that called an all-in and thought they were behind.
I know you think that.
Never in my life. So if he called, he earned it.
I know you think that was crazy.
Hey guys, well done.
I would have played it the same.
So the last time you wore the buttons, Mullen.
Congratulations to the final six who advanced the final day. And those last two hands, huge for Timofeyev. He'll come into this final day as chip leader with close to 4 million. And Anthony Diot will be happy, still in contention, and he has laddered up.
Well done. The dream, Diotti. And by the way, well done to all 6 of these guys, because I can't imagine any of them have been in this position before. So close to a title in a major event.
So remember, we come back tomorrow with Cards Up coverage of the final 6. James Salmon receiving his payout. Tomorrow there's $300,000 on the line, near enough. That's what the winner will get paid. There's the trophy as well. Now, play's going to start at the usual time, noon Eastern Standard Time, but we will be on a 1-hour delay tomorrow because we will be Cards Up. So you want to be watching PokerStars.tv from 1 p.m. Just to translate for those of you watching in Europe, that is 6 p.m. in the UK, 7 p.m. in Central Europe. We will play down to a champion. We will crown a winner here in Panama. Bag and tag, guys. Come back for the final day. A good day of poker, Joe.
Wonderful. Really, some amazing hands. That 8-high bluff. The Queen 9 call it off. The amazing thin river bet that managed to find a call in the end to double up. Really great stuff today.
So join us tomorrow for Cards Up coverage of the final table. But for now, from Joe Stapleton and me, James Hartigan, it is good night from Panama. Join us tomorrow.
Not that short.